thing to do. Getting rich, making moves, that's the cruise. Phone on silent, I ain't hearing you. Don't call me, I'll call you. Paper chasing, that's what I'm into. Busy gunning, gotta keep it true. Don't call me, I'll call you. I'm on the go, you know the vibe. Whipping the whip, I'm taking a ride. You hitting my line, I'm letting it slide. I got the hustlers nationwide. Fighting machine, counting the flags. Blowing my phone, I'm chasing a bag. Hanging on top of the chick in the chat. I'm on a mission, I'm doing the math. Ice on my wrist, it's looking like snow. Diamonds so cold, they hit it like whoa. Don't need distractions, I'm stacking the dough. When I'm young, you know I let you know. Don't call me, I'll call you. Money stacking up, I got things to do. Getting rich, making moves, that's the cruise. Phone on solid, I ain't hearing you. Don't call me, I'll call you. Paper chasing, that's what I'm into. Busy grinding, gotta keep it true. Don't call me, I'll call you. Rain, but I ain't gon' pick up. I'm in the cut, gotta get my racks up. Pushing the gas, I ain't never gon' stop. Grinding so hard, I'm taking the top. Fat roll thick, pockets on swole. You hitting my line, I'm letting it go. Let it look so clean, dripping and go. You ain't on my level, you already know. Stay your lane, I'm running the game. Phone on silent, you know the name. Make any move, stacking the change. Don't need no drama, ain't playing no games. Don't call me, I'll call you. Money stacking up, I got things to do. Getting rich, making moves, that's the cruise. Phone on solid, I ain't hearing you. Don't call me, I'll call you. Paper chasing, that's what I'm into. Busy grinding, gotta keep it true. Don't call me, I'll call you. I'm on a mission, ain't got no time. Pulling up since I'm on the grind. Phone on mute, I'm in my prime. Don't call me, I'm cutting the line. Pockets so fat, pockets obese. I'm blowing my phone, I'm chasing the cheese. I'm in the top, it's a different breed. Focus on money, I'm feeling at ease. Making these plays, running the scope. Don't need your call, I'm ready for more. Waiting on me, I'm setting the tone. When I get there, I hit up your phone.
Ain't nobody wanna step to me. If you wanna bring that drama, I'll whoop that ass like Michael Obama. Yeah, I got that big D energy. Ain't nobody wanna step to me. And if you really wanna bring that drama, I'll whoop that ass like Michael Obama.
No, Michelle is a
I'm sorry, she's a what?
transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. It's okay.
I whip that thing out like Michael Obama.
We already had it with
I got that
Obama,
big
so
energy.
let's just calm down.
Nobody wanna step to me.
No.
And if you really wanna bring that drama, I whip that ass like Michael Obama. I'm a girl, 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 I'm a whip them thing out like Michael Obama. I got that big energy. Ain't nobody wanna step like me. And if you really wanna bring that drama, I whip that ass like Michael Obama. Ain't got that clip, bitch. Hung like a llama. I whip that dick out like Michael Obama.
Layla, hates up, hotties. Oh yeah, Layla, she hates her hotties.
we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe?
The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunnilinguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracy, sex, cult, Jamaicans, it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys. The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunnilinguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracy, sex, cult, Jamaicans, it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys.
Big up your pussy ass Friday good guy self, brother.
Ow!
Brother.
How are you guys? This
Fantastic.
Friday
Gonna chill with the
evening.
homies.
We decided this might be a hot topic tonight. Do make sure you follow us on Rumble or X because talking about weather modification during a FEMA news cycle might be a hot topic. So we dressed incognito. So maybe they will not pull us off YouTube this evening.
Brother.
Brother. Layla,
It's very uncomfortable.
let's see
It
how
is,
long
my
we
nose is
mustache
itching.
up.
It's gonna start itching, yeah. Like I'm already like I think it's an allergic reaction.
That's
It's
a real
alright.
thing too.
It's
Even
alright.
with a real mustache, it's just constantly itchy.
Itchy. Ooh.
Really, you would
God.
think you would be used to it if you have it all the time.
Well, you do get used to it, but it doesn't mean that it's not itchy.
I just, I was thinking about blowing my nose, and I was like, gross. I could imagine blowing my nose with a mustache.
You have to clean the hairs after.
Yeah,
This
you
is
get-
so tight when I smile. I'm like, it's gonna pop off my face.
I know I have like a baby smile.
My nose is doing this weird thing.
If I put a goatee on, I look like Big Papa Pump. That is a throwback to any of you wrestling fans out there. I look a little more Big Papa Pump, but I am not related to Kevin Nash, however, and I kind of am feeling that vibe a little as well. I wish I was a little more Razor Ramon. I like that trashy vibe.
Razor
Mustache.
Ramon. That sounds familiar.
Razor Ramon. I feel like there's something like mustache. It makes me like trashy. I see how like the Me Too movement would have a hard time if I had a mustache. Am I right, ladies?
You're not,
I can't
no,
laugh
no.
in this.
I know.
Like the
lips
stuff I'd get away with my mustache. I look like Matthew McConaughey pulling up in Dazed and Confused. Like where he's like high school girl. Yeah, I keep getting older, but high school girls keep on staying the same age. It's so creepy.
Ew.
I look like that. That's what I look like with a fucking trashy mustache.
Especially with the yellow glasses. It's like so 70s.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
all I'm getting is just straight Hulk Hogan, which is like the best
It is
wrestler to
Hulk
be if you really needed to.
hey lady, you got pancake nipples.
I have Charlie Chaplin going on.
Charlie Chaplin, the Fiera. that would be your wrestling name. In this corner, we have Hulk Hogan, and in this corner, the Fiera.
I was going straight raper vibes, so I got the creepy shack behind me.
You do have a little bit of raper vibes about you.
Yeah, a little bit. It reminds me of that movie what's that movie with oh my god, man. This girl, she gets caught and she's in a hole and her father's trying to find him. Rainbow
Lovely
something.
Bones.
Lovely Bones, there you go.
Rainbow
you remind-
something.
Yeah, that's what you remind me of. And kind of Chaney a little bit.
And
With the
who?
yellow glasses, Lovely Bones,
Yeah.
the kidnapper from Lovely
No.
Bones. He gives super rapey vibes. That actor. He's another one besides Kevin Bacon.
You think if you're a rapist, you should just get rid of the mustache?
Yes.
Like,
Don't do it.
don't lean into this look necessarily. Like, it would not be the. So it's been an interesting week in the media cycle. I felt like that's why we should call this show FEMA.
I need some updates because I haven't even been, like you just mentioned, there's another hurricane coming. I didn't even know that until you just said it.
Yeah, I guess we can start there. There's another hurricane out in the Gulf, and I put a video that got pulled down pretty quickly everywhere else except X. I'm even nervous to play it here because I feel like if everywhere else had such an issue with it, here might pull it down extra quick. But it's pretty much they took it down because they said the anomaly that the screen was seeing was birds, like massive amounts of bird patterns all over the country, and that's the only reason that it showed there was because of the hurricane. But it's almost like all of these blue dots go up in on the weather radar, and what it says is it like directs the storm. So like, let's say normally if a storm, and I feel like we were talking about this on other where I said the way I might have been on the phone with someone now that I'm thinking about it. The way usually when a Floridian, when a hurricane hits land or somebody that lives in any of these hurricane areas, it usually disperses. It usually starts to go everywhere a little bit. The way this one stayed together all the way until like Ohio almost, and then it shows the west coast of the country all lights up in this blue pattern where it almost forces the hurricane to stay this
West.
yeah, like or eastern, like really stay east of the, not spread out all the way. You can check out, I did post it on my X and I do have it on my Instagram. It's still up on Instagram, but TikTok was like, no, ma'am.
Yeah, it's strange. But you know what is
It
interesting
was like,
about
no,
this
sir.
whole hurricane situation and how like we saw it going east, and going towards Tallahassee, and all of a sudden it went phew, like this. So then I did a little research, and there's this whole project called Project Cirrus, CIRRUS. 1947, the government and General Electric, the company, decided to do a little test. And the test was to see if they can slow down the production of a hurricane. But I think they actually knew what would happen if they, went through with this test. So what the test consisted of was them flying over or into the hurricane with a plane and dumping about 80 kilos of dry ice into the hurricane. And this is a project, you can research it yourself. And what happened was it literally made the hurricane so much stronger within instantly. Like once it started going in there, automatically it started, reacting to the dry ice. And it made the hurricane literally turn 130 degrees and head west, like literally control the movement of the entire hurricane. Okay. And there's a project before this. I forgot the name of the project.
I probably have it.
Posted it. Yeah. It's very fascinating. I fell down this Project Storm Fury.
That was after it.
Before or after? Yeah.
After. Yeah. Because the first one, Project Cirrus, is in 1947. Because the 47 of it all, it like seared into my brain. And then Project Storm Fury is 1962 to 1983.
Yep. And there's another project, actually, when you look into that. So many projects. It started with the letter B.
And I was talking with somebody today, just like another old Floridian like me. And when I was younger, hurricanes were 80 miles. You know what? It was Abbie and I talking yesterday. And she's like been in Oklahoma long enough, and we're around the same age. And I've been in Florida long enough. And I said, I don't mean to sound like an asshole, but hurricanes used to be big and tornadoes used to be strong. Somewhere in our lifetime, hurricanes have become the same speed as tornadoes.
Yeah.
It's wild. Yeah. Because tornadoes are always so much like, not to say hurricanes weren't destructive, but shit, like in the path of a tornadoes were freaking nuts. Like F5 is scary as hell.
So
Throws all
Project
that stuff
Baton
down.
is another project around the same, I guess, testing. I don't think it was a test. I think they knew what the fuck they were doing. They just wanted to make sure and confirm. And they confirmed that they haven't stopped using this technology, just so you know.
Well, here's the proof to it, in my opinion. So the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, records weather modification projects for the Secretary of Commerce. If there
NOAA?
wasn't weather modification, what are they recording? So also the Department of the Interior supports precipitation modification research through Project Skywater, which is administered by the Bureau of Reclamation, which I think is crazy because there are states in this country where like they are so strict with what of your rainwater you can claim and
Oh,
like what you can
California.
collect.
California, you can't collect rainwater at all. It's illegal now.
A few states are like that. It's just bizarre.
National Science Foundation supports precipitation modification research. North American Weather Modification Council promotes the proper use of weather modification technologies through research, education, and promotion. Weather Modification Advisory Board, established by the Secretary of Commerce to provide independent advice on weather modification issues. And this is even before I used AI.
Yeah. And you know, one of the major tools that they use now, yes, we know of HARP, but the major tool that they use to help add energy into these hurricanes or whatever weather patterns that they want to create are these NexRad towers. You just have to just literally search NexRad and you will dive into the deepest rabbit hole and you will find these towers. They're like, I would say they're like 5G towers, but instead of the 5G rectangle structures, you have this bulb, like it's a dome, this white dome around it. So that's what is one of the tools that they use majorly right now. Like you'll see the I would say the frequency energy when they start using them, and you'll see activity of where these storms are producing, and it's mainly around these NexRad towers. And it's a big company, huge company actually. NexRad.
The background too on chemtrails, like one of the original reasons for chemtrails, that the official reason that was even admitted when I think the original patent was made. I'll make up a number. I think it was in the late 70s. But the whole premise of that one was that they were going to spray aluminum particles, I guess, that would reflect UV back out into space so that it would reduce on the issues with like the holes in the ozone layers that everyone cared about in the 80s and 90s, right? That was a very clear example of sort of like weather control modification. And in Texas, there's specific jobs you can have if you've got a pilot license that whenever it looks like it might rain, there's like a 20% chance. There's certain people that get paid on those exact moments to jump into their plane and fly up and seed all the clouds. I think it's like silver iodide or something. And
yeah, that's what it is.
There's like a real ass job that it's not like a made up, they're not just like up there for fun, conspiracy theory. They spend a good amount of fuel and they drop all these chemicals out into the sky, and it has a very real, tangible effect. It's not. I saw something the other day. It was like, the weather modifications have like a 10% chance. Cloud seeding is 10% chance.
Barium and aluminum part of that too, or no?
I mean, that's what usually it comes up in chemtrail research, but I don't believe that's part of the official thing that they would actually seed clouds with. The barium and all the other
20% chance until you see like 20 fucking airplanes going at the same time, dumping shit into the sky and making X's all over the place. Like bullshit. Like that's why weather reporting is a lot more accurate, I think, these days.
Is it accurate, or is it like prediction because they control it and they'll just tell you where they're going to push it?
That's what I mean. Why it's accurate. It's not necessarily accurate. It's just that they freaking make it happen.
AccuWeather. And so if it's all about heating up the ionosphere, and most people will tell you like a hurricane feeds on warm water, moisture. So if they can heat up the ionosphere, like we see what they are capable of with these weapons in Maui, or even you could say the Twin Towers potentially. So it's like, how hard would it be to heat up the ionosphere? I just
Well,
don't think that
that's
seems hard
exactly
at
what
all.
HARP does, right? The whole intention of HARP is to heat up the ionosphere, and they aim all of their antennas. All HARP really is it's kind of dumbed down. It's just a huge grid of these different antennas that they can calibrate them to all point at the exact same spot, and they just pummel that one spot with energy for long amounts of time with all the power that they got there. And that not only does it heat up the ionosphere, but it heats it up to the point where it'll create like a less dense area. Like it actually like spreads it all out and it shifts things around. So one of the things you can do is you can bounce around. If you believe in satellite signals, right? Satellite signals. If there's something that are using to bounce around inside the ionosphere, if you spread one part of it out, it'll bounce to like a slightly different area. But it also means that whatever area that you're heating up becomes less dense, it does allow more UV into that certain spot. So now if we were talking about like the Sears program that Layla brought up, right? If you've got a chance to be able to control this hurricane, it's almost like a real world version of the trolley paradox where you can control where this train is going to go. I almost imagine in the future, you could just like pay your way out of it. Like, all right, who's going to raise the money this time? Is it going to be Texas? Is it going to be Florida? Who's going to raise? Whoever raises the most can like push the the hurricane towards the other state or something.
Is it real?
Or if you wanted, like your state had no GDP at all, and you just wanted to pull on some federal money somewhere, would you, as a dirty governor who didn't care about your people, maybe be like, I need my state to get hit? It'll push commerce.
Yeah, that's
Because
exactly
that's what
what
it
they
does.
did.
It pushes a whole bunch of commerce, then a whole bunch of like people who need to build things. Like all of the infrastructure around our country it was built for half the amount of traffic and half the amount of time. And so it's all so overdue. Like the roads, the plumbing, the bridges, the everything. Like it falling apart under these storms, and these storms are being turned the fuck up.
Yeah, and it's odd also with these storms. You'll see a trend of these airplanes going into these storms, which is fascinating. And I'm just like, why are these planes going in there? And then you'll have the NPC reason, and they'll say, oh, they're just in there trying to record the measurements and whatever they record in the storm, whatever energy that they record in there. But then I look at this, from 1947, the Sirius Project. I'm like, this is exactly that. I posted, if you guys want to check it out, I posted a couple videos, the last 2 videos on my page. Just go check it out. This plane, it's going into the storm from Texas, I believe San Antonio, that region, flies into the storm, goes into the eye of it, and just circles in there and circles in there and circles in there, makes a loop, and then flies right back. And then people say, no, it wasn't weather modification. No, but it was. It was. Why? We all know why. And Chaney will tell you why. There's a good money reason why.
Brother.
Hey there, brother. No, I do think it's super interesting, the lithium mines in Northern California, and how BlackRock just happened to get
North Carolina.
Or North. What did I say? North California.
Northern California.
It's just because I'm Hollywood Hogan over here. Sorry. New World Order, baby.
I can't.
Sorry.
It's hurting. I don't know why.
See, I can say stuff like that because even if they clip it, they have to edit off the mustache.
Edit it out.
Let it. Sorry. Sorry. Let me let out all my Illuminati hand signals right now. I'm mad. Okay. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, lithium mines in in North Carolina.
One of the biggest deposits of lithium in North Carolina. Yeah. So they were trying to get a bunch of the North Carolinians to sell their properties to move in these mines, and the locals fought it. But also there's quartz, like huge deposit of quartz. So it all goes into fueling our electronics. So not just electronic cars. I mean, think about how many of these, and they're disposable. Like they're not made to last. You have to get a new one every couple of years. So what doesn't run on batteries?
It's you know what? Kakala Harris, you caca. Okay, you're on notice, bitch. With fucking Biden. Sorry, I almost said Bin Laden. You should be Bin Laden at this point. With everything happening in North Carolina and all the fucking corpses that you guys just want to let rot there and say, hey, here's $750 for you guys. And we're going to send billions to fucking Israel and billions to fucking Ukraine. It's mind blowing. Like, I'm so fucking furious. It is pissing me the fuck off. Like, why the fuck are we not taking care of our citizens? And any one of you want to vote Democrat, fake or not fake, real or not real, y'all are sick in the fucking head. Y'all are the problem. Y'all are sick in the fucking head. I'm just over it.
Well, especially
Democrats,
now,
you're on notice.
the 750 wouldn't even replace what you would lose that was in your fridge and your freezer, probably.
Oh, you have to show itemized receipts, and they'll replace up to like $10,000.
Yeah, people they'll just make crap up though.
FEMA's out of money, guys. FEMA's out of money.
Yeah,
there's
broke.
No more money apparently, and people are applying for money, and they're not even getting approved because there's no money. Why? Israel, Ukraine. Okay, very nice, beautiful. I love it. I love it so much. Fucking sick. This is insanity, but enjoy the show.
The truth is, they can literally just print it.
They really
That's what they do. I mean, it's not like we have trillions of dollars just
like we're not out of money. They can literally print the money to do. They do print the money. That's the only thing that they really seem to do.
I can't. It drives me insane.
It is pretty maddening. And you see like people, it's like we are on a loop and we keep going through everything again. And probably the same way as 9/11, I would say the same way that falling man or hangman or whatever symbolism you want to say, how it's like seared into our brain. The people on the roofs in Katrina are also seared into our brain. And we aren't allowed any of those images right now. And most of the places up in those hills are, even if Starlink went up there, which, the Elon on X posted that he sent a bunch of Starlink up there and that they were being turned away by FEMA, like people that were trying to come and help, and helicopters were being turned away by FEMA. And I do understand emergency areas and every Tom, Dick, and Harry can't just rush into the area. I do understand that. Like in the Keys after one of the hurricanes, the islands get so looted. It is unbelievable. And there's no cops around. Like the cops are too busy protecting their own house. There's no one to call for help. So it's just like you protecting your stuff. And there's people pulling up on boats that are just like breaking into houses and taking things. And so that also does happen. But it's not the Keys. It's the middle of the Appalachia Mountains. Yeah. Like it's not Key West mansions, it's like
this thing, Chaney, in the Appalachian Mountains on TikTok. This man with his mules and his fucking horse loaded up with supplies and insulin and all kinds of shit. I mean, a line of his fucking mules.
Those are actually people that I'm hearing right now. Don't donate to the fucking Red Cross. Don't donate to the Red Crescent. Don't donate to these big organizations that take a little of your money and then put a pink ribbon on it for advertising and propaganda. Don't do this shit. That guy that Layla's talking about and the mule men up there, you can probably find him on all your social media right now. You can legitimately donate to them and they'll bring it right to the people. Like you can find something with a little bit of research, like the news is just telling you Asheville, but there is so many towns that you've never heard of before. They didn't ever want you to fucking hear of them before.
That sounds way cooler than Red Cross too. And I did like a deep dive on Red Cross. I haven't seen anyone bring this one up. Maybe it's just because it's boring, but I found this completely fascinating that the Red Cross's first domestic operation in the U.S. was at something called the Johnstown flood. And the Johnstown flood happened. Long story short, the conspiratorial version that I believe is Carnegie was trying to run some sort of industrial operation, and they had this whole town that was like downshot of them, downriver from them, that was complaining about all this runoff from the factory. So they built this dam, and then they were able to make the dam fail, flood the town out, and now the town wasn't around to complain, and they could expand operations and not have anyone kind of throwing a wrench in their gears. And that operation was the first thing that the Red Cross ends up handling domestically. And it almost seemed that even back in the day when it originally happened, there were all these theories that the Red Cross had prior knowledge, that they were like geared up and ready to go for this specific event that they claimed was just a catastrophic failure of the dam that they couldn't have predicted. But this was just another example of the Red Cross just straight up being like part of the baddies.
The irony of you guys saying don't donate to the Red Cross, and I just donated blood to them the other day.
Oy.
Yeah, blood banks.
Give me a shirt.
Seems wild.
That went
I fed
straight
the-
to
fed the
Oprah's
vampires.
supply immediately. That went right to Oprah. The blood.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That's what I
I
was
mean,
thinking.
the
What
waters,
vampire
y'all,
am I feeding?
were so strong that I saw, what are those cargo metal containers? What are they called?
Shipping containers.
There you go, shipping containers. I saw it literally get bent in half from the power of that fucking water running through that town or those
Well,
towns.
that's the thing that no one talks about is it is not the wind. It is the flooding. It is the water rising. And so infrastructure that we were talking about before, if the same way we're all holding these cell phones or our cars or our microwaves or our air conditioners, and they all have these little microchips in them and they can just turn them off at whim. Like that's what I feel about for everything else. Like I feel like it's all easily controlled like our dam system, and it's all set there to break. It's set there for the levees to flood, and you can look into places over and over again like Vanport. That's in Washington at the border of Portland and Washington State. You can look into Louisiana because George Bush doesn't like black people, but the CIA never likes black people. The CIA doesn't like people. Like that's like not a surprise. So I just feel the dams. I don't know that one wasn't the dam systems that run through that area and the amount of waterfalls through that area. I don't know that one wasn't blown purposefully. So many of them are like set up to, and there's just 200-300 hundreds of towns down below, and they're all just set there waiting to be destroyed. And we just have to trust that this infrastructure is gonna last. Is wild.
It's strange to have a hurricane towards a mountain in the first place.
It
That's
doesn't
like,
break apart like in the mountains of Cuba, like it does every
Ugh.
single time it goes over the top of Jamaica. Like everything in these islands usually break it apart, but the center of Florida will usually break it apart, and that's fucking
Yeah.
swamp water. So it's like some
It's
bullshit.
bizarre, bro.
Yeah.
Like
Could it
this
be
is
the microplastics? Like the microplastics are just adding like a certain little je ne sais quoi to the whole hurricane process, and now they've like can hold together. Is it the pharmaceuticals in the water? Maybe those are like hyping up, the hurricanes.
The estrogen of it all, because that's what microplastics do. They're like xenoestrogens.
maybe they've been pumping the sky all summer long and just having all that shit, because I haven't seen chemtrails in a while, but I've seen them all summer. Just all spring.
Well, let's talk about this too. Okay, a hurricane,
Prep it.
150 miles across. A big hurricane, 350 miles across. This hurricane, 800 fucking miles across, motherfuckers.
And you know what?
800 miles. Like we were in rain for a long time where I live on the other side of the state, and we were getting bands for 3 days that were like 55 miles an hour bands just ripping through with tons of lightning and twisters ripping off of them. And I'm far away. So it's just like 800 miles, bitch.
Well, remember the whole blob in where was it, by Antarctica, and it was moving up towards our area, and for some strange reason we had weird anomalies with the animals and whatnot, and it especially in Florida, and the sharks and sightings of orcas in the Gulf. and the heating of the water in such high temperatures, they haven't seen it this high in like record times. So it's just like something's going on. I feel like this is all interconnected with that weird, strange anomaly with the blob, that big black speck in the middle of the ocean. Maybe it's something to do that they're pouring into the water that helps produce, because not only the sky, but you need, as above, so below, you need power from the water. So maybe, like he's saying, microplastics, or they're just pumping something in the water to help these hurricanes
I wasn't
become
even trying to
tornado-like.
be facetious. I don't think it's hard to boil water in front of the path of a hurricane, and that's where it's gonna go.
Mhm.
It's like so easy to point a laser, or like that's why I put a magnifying glass in an ant. I feel like pointing that at any spot in the ocean. Who knows what they're up to all the time out there? They decide what to show us, like that bubbling fire circle that they showed us for some random reason, like pit to
Mhm.
hell. Like
Mhm.
they decide what to show us out in the ocean.
Or what if it has to do with our second new moon, or our new second moon?
Did anyone see
Oh,
it? I
what
didn't
up?
see it. Look, there's
I
a
saw I saw a TikTok on it. It was pretty freaking interesting, but
I've
you have
seen a
to see it with a
TikTok,
camera. Yeah.
but I've seen
Yeah,
Is
this
it
it
here?
seems
follower.
We're,
like
we're
more of
getting
that.
one.
This lady has been
It's
looking
here.
at the sky every
It's
night for the
September
past
29th.
8 nights, looking for this second moon. She hasn't seen the moon because it's a new moon, obviously, because it's not going to be out for a while. But they've talked about the second moon kind of being out right now, but she's been looking out, clear skies every night, and she has not seen it, has not spotted it. And she's been staying out there for hours trying to peep it.
Well, they make it sound like it was like something we're all going to be able to see visually, but it's like 33 meters.
Second moon, you're on notice.
33
Period.
meters.
33.
That's not a
33.
fucking moon.
It's not. It's a freaking asteroid the size of a school bus.
Oh my god, yo. Oh my god. That's science seance
But the whole
for you.
moon, controlling the water thing, the tides and all of that, which actually I think they.
And then to name it Helene, whatever the fucking, but that's like a patron saint of sailors. So in the maritime of it all.
Something strange. This is all weird, bizarre.
There's also, this is kind of crazy too, with the 33 number. Every 33 years, the sun and the moon, I believe,
Yes.
enter alignment.
Every
It's called
33
a
years is like a
solar
new
lunar
lunar cycle, right? Or a new,
Yeah.
like a new lunar year or whatever. Or
Yeah, and that
Lunar solar
33
cycle.
meters.
I learned that from watching that show Dark, and it was good. You guys should watch that. The triquetra of it all.
I don't know. I
What
think
else
they're
happened?
The three. What's the show with the three suns that we all just kind of
three body problem.
three body problem?
Mm,
That was
mhm.
great, actually.
Because that reminds me of that too. All this going on. It's like
I don't know. It's something weird. Like, did we all die in 2020 again? Reset, and then like we're in this weird like version
Oh,
of
I'm gonna
the
be
game.
so like we're in a
2021,
group
right?
purgatory
Like
together.
for real. Yeah.
Like we're in a group Groundhog's Day.
Yeah. And
Like-
every
Like,
time
what
we
the
wake up,
1899 was that
it's so
the one?
bizarre.
We're just getting older. What the hell?
Nah, bitch, we're staying the same age.
I'm
Oh,
having
baby,
broken
you're
foot issues
making me
this week.
crazy.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, is this forever? Is this a new pain I'm gonna have forever? But
No, it's not. It's temporary.
it's been a weird
Promise.
week. I have to be real. It's been a weird week. I got laid off. Like, I broke my foot. My AC's broken right now. It's been kind of wild. I don't feel bad about any of it. I feel like
Do you remember the
Whatever.
post though that I
I'm-
sent you from what was it, CoStar? And it said a lot of what was that one that was like a lot of enemies, something. What was it? And I'm like,
don't
"But
know.
use your protection magic, girl, like ASAP. Like
It's so
ASAP.
funny.
Burn some sage.
I know.
Hell yeah.
Like it's fine. Libra, it has to balance everything out. We're in like Libra season. It's normal. I've been on a yang year. I'm like, okay, every time I injure myself, I always feel like, okay, this is a quick and easy Like for some reason, I'd rather have my body injured than like my heart.
Yeah.
So I'm
Same.
always like, okay, life,
Oh,
I'll
maybe
take
not.
it in the foot.
Well, you said you got laid off too. What happened there?
I got laid off. Yeah, I don't
With
know.
cause or just we
No,
don't need you?
one has nothing to do with the other. My injured foot has nothing to do with my layoff. I wasn't the
Yeah, that
only.
would
I
be
didn't get laid off solo. There were 3 of us that got laid off, so it's like a third of my work staff got laid off. It wasn't. We're not too big of a crew, but
Business has got to be booming though. No, doesn't that place just print money?
you know what I was wondering? If the hurricane that
Yeah.
ripped through farms in Florida, like all the farm area flooded. But I mean, most of them should be indoors, but I don't know how it
All
affects
those
things. Or
animals.
But you know what's wild though is that Oklahoma, like they've so much of our agricultural land that goes to raising cattle and growing grass and all the little things like beef. A lot of it is being bought up by like Russians and Mongs to grow weed. So, and most of the weed that they grow in this state, even, like you don't have a cap. Like I think you can buy up to like 7 ounces a day here with medical, but like a day, like you don't have a cap monthly. But most of the weed that they grow here is shipped out of state.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What's the other news?
I work tomorrow morning. I'm not. The chat's so sweet, and I see them like, you could do this, or it's a new opportunity. It's okay. I actually work tomorrow.
Nice.
I'm bartending, so it's fine.
Nice.
Yeah, I have other. I needed a push on. It was kind of a lazy boy of life
It was
job.
time.
It was nice after chemo, getting my body back and going to work and just being like, hey, I'm at a pot shop. Hey, hey, look, I landed at a pot shop. But overall, and I was thinking too, like, they're going to be one of the farms that no matter in the state, if it wrecks, that you'll be able to buy from. So, and probably if it wrecks, they don't need the fucking consultation anymore. It's going to be quick, like turnovers in and out. What do you want?
What do you want? Yeah, you
It'll
want
be
some
so
sardine?
nice because
Gotcha,
they
my
just
friend.
police. They just straight up charge. They just tax you for every little thing to go the legal route. And technically, if a cop wants to be a dick, how many people are actually keeping their joints and keeping their like dispensary specific little containers that have got your name and all of your information on? Technically, if you were to ever get pulled over and you didn't have all of that, right, then like you're still violating the law. But I think it's just like if they want to selectively prosecute you for it, if they just want to be a dick, then they can be a dick regardless of what's going on.
Yeah, I'm I don't really care. I appreciate I'm kind of grateful. Like time to move on, and it is Florida season. So come November, restaurants get popping again.
Yep.
So a little less hours. I'll get to spend more hours here. Ding.
Period.
Yeah, less hours doing that shim sham.
That happened on the mountains that we wanted to bring up, that you said you wanted to bring up about that cloning operation.
Oh my gosh. Is that on your IG?
Yeah, my IG.
I'm going to open it right now. This is.
Are we still talking cloning plants, or are we talking to cloning humans now?
5 down, second one.
Or goats, right? Wasn't the dude that was cloning the goats?
The sheep?
5 down, second one. There you go. The middle orange. Yep.
Okay.
Been charged with federal felony wildlife crimes for cloning a giant foreign sheep here in the U.S. for hunting purposes. Let me try to explain this. So this 81-year-old man, his name is Arthur Schubarth. Oh. He imported sperm, tissue, and testicles from a Marco Polo sheep, the largest in the world, and then successfully took that material and made a full living sheep out of it. Then he crossbred that sheep with a Rocky Mountain Bighorn sheep and created a hybrid sheep that he called the Montana Mountain King. And the plan was to sell those, which he actually did, to people who wanted to stock preserves exclusively for hunting. The authorities were not fans of this move, and they've given him a 6-month sentence. The judge said this is to deter anyone from, quote, changing the genetic makeup of the creatures on this earth.
Unless you're a
Did
corporation.
you hear that? Did you hear that?
Dang, Three Eyes.
Do you hear that, Fauci? Did you hear that? Motherfucker.
Hey, I'm
you,
genetically
girl.
manipulating over here.
Fucking. Why don't they go after him?
That is really sweet. We will
Oh,
appreciate
awesome.
that, and we will use that
love
to pay
you.
for part of our room and board. And by the way, October 25th and 26th, you can go to brogrove.com and get tickets if you want to come hang out with us in real life. And there will be links if you want to click on them and not leave the comfort of your own home. And stay posted to everyone too. Like, I know a lot of people that are like doing stuff for the hurricane. This is total sidebar, but since I'm plugging, that are doing stuff for the hurricane, like locally, or that do have friends over in St. Pete or on the other side of Florida that lost everything. And so if I know someone that's real, I'll post it, and then you can have a place to donate or give to one of them. And, some people are actually in the area, so they have stuff to give and help, and that's rad. So anyways, thanks, Three Eyes, you're awesome.
Yeah, he is.
Always here.
She's a female.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I didn't
Sorry
know
to
that.
misgender you.
Sorry.
I know.
That's
I pay
2
attention.
felonies now. If anyone's counting, 2 Canadian felonies in this show so far.
2 Canadian felonies. That's it.
Damn.
What are they?
Oh well.
Well, you just misgendered Three Eyes, and then we've also got the Big D Energy song, which that entire song is a Canadian felony.
Ooh.
I love
It's a hate
that.
crime.
Fuck Canada.
Fuck Canada.
That's 3 or 4 now. We're just gonna rack them all up.
Canada, you're on notice.
Yep.
Fuck
Pudgy Mudge.
fuck today. You sit on this and spin on it.
I don't know how he's still there. It feels like whatever is happening in California is happening in Canada.
California?
Yeah, I mean, it's happening everywhere. I can't. It's too long.
Yeah,
I try
it's
to straighten it up.
irritating.
I win. I was able to keep it up the longest.
You went the longest. Winner, chicken dinner.
I couldn't do it. It started getting like hot on here and like
This is a bit in my mouth
inflamed.
that I couldn't drink my drink.
Yeah, it was irritating.
I need a skinny one.
So also another thing is port closures are happening all over. So everyone, if it's giving you Shein, if it's giving you Temu, don't order it, because
you ain't gonna get
get that. You ain't getting that for Halloween. Don't plan your Halloween costume around Temu and Shein this year. If you wanted your mustaches, you should have ordered them already.
That's it.
Uh-oh. I've got Lego parts on order from China.
Oh, yeah. It might be a while at the
Yeah,
dock.
it might be a while. That's all right. It just means they're going to be more limited edition exclusive than
Right.
originally planned.
I thought with DeSantis fixed the problem and sent the troops over to the strike area, and the ports won't be closed after all.
The ports won't be closed everywhere.
No.
He's like,
He sent
nah.
the National Guard over, and he's like,
dock
nope.
workers don't want to work. That's fine. We'll
National
send
Guard.
the National Guard.
Strike breakers.
More cops to help like make sure that everything stays on route on the highways, to like help like all the stuff go where they need to go, all the shipping material.
So speaking of the highways, the truckers of it all, like
He's
they're
a
getting their
Zionist,
tires
bro.
slashed all up the eastern part of the United States, even over here in Oklahoma. I did actually sit and talk to some of the truck drivers, because I stopped at a Love's gas station. There was like this trucker who's sitting right there, and I could tell he was a trucker because he had his little Britney mic in. And I was like, so is there any truth to the truckers that are getting their tires slashed, at truck stops? And he goes, oh girl, it's not just happening at truck stops. It's happening Like he's like, my buddy was just parked on the side of the road sleeping for the night, and got 9 of his tires slashed. He said it's happening everywhere, like all up this part of the United States.
Busy mushes, man. Who's doing it?
I mean, just think about on a regular vehicle, if somebody slashes your tires, that's
Yeah.
anywhere from $5,000 to $1,000. And then if you're
They
looking
made
at
deals.
one of those truck tires, 9
They made deals
Companies
with
that are doing
all of
this?
these immigrants that are coming in from the border. I mean, they're paying for surgeries. They're paying people to come here, thanks to Israel also, just so you know. Biggest donations from them to bring immigrants here. And yeah, the one thing is to do, they have a to-do list for certain people who come across the border. They have things to do, places to go, slash tires here, there, break into this home, kill this person, you know.
And really what the whole COVID of it all should have taught everyone is that truckers are pretty much the lifeblood of the country. In order for you to get your fucking toilet paper, you should thank a damn trucker. Like the Teamsters and all that, they're literally the people who are keeping your grocery store stocked. So
That's
And
what they
the last
did
bastion in
again.
Canada, like that was who saved Canada essentially.
Yeah.
Or the last sort of like stand, the one that
Yeah.
actually broke them down were the truckers.
Yep. They're trucking motherfuckers, badass.
If the truckers got the people on the motorcycles, all the people on the motorcycles, like Rough Riders and Harley Davidsons and Gold Wings, if truckers and motorcycles, like even John Bon Jovi, like that would be a game change. When I
John
think
Bon Jovi.
horses and torches, I think motorcycles, and it would be awesome if they were actual horses and torches.
These colors don't run.
Would you guys
John
like to
Bon
go back
Jovi.
into an era where everyone's
much.
riding horses? Like everyone just on horses and no cars, just going
This
back to
also sounds
horses.
like no air conditioning too, though.
I know. That's like air conditioning is like a deal breaker for me.
That would be fun. Just everyone on
Oh,
horses.
horseback would be cool, but
Yeah. Be so dope. I mean, it gives you more freedom to go wherever the fuck you want. You don't
if you're a
need-
cowboy and if you're a cowboy and you have a horse, you're gonna fucking live through any kind of like
Yeah, I love that.
apocalyptic type shit because you can go anywhere
That's one of the
and you
things
can
that's
loot like a
triggering too,
motherfucker.
is that most people that have equine animals in storms, horses and cows and stuff and goats, they release them during the storm, and all the animals that have their big asses, they build a wall out of their asses and they'll turn toward the direction of the wind, and then all the smaller animals, goats, chickens, babies, they'll all get in front of those animals and then they'll just turn toward the wind the whole time. But you can't leave them locked up in pens and in houses and in these barns that are built like shlim shlam, but they have to, or they don't get paid out for their insurance. So a lot of these people are forced to drown their animals in flooding so that they'll get paid out. And the thing about this storm is there's a good opportunity. A lot of those people left their animals in and they drowned, and then they also lost the barn that the thing was in. Like, they're not going to get it. Like, the levels of insurance and how broke, there is going to be no FEMA money. There's going to be no disaster money for any of these people or any of these towns. Some of these towns are all the way gone.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's true.
Makes me sad. It makes me sad for those people.
I feel sad for everyone in this country right now. We're all being played like a fucking joke. The whole world's laughing at us. Like, look at the Americans are suffering. I love to see it. That's what the world's like
They're fucking
witnessing
gay,
right now.
all the transgender shit.
Doesn't it seem, though, it's like there's part of us that we understand the price of eggs or the price of gas or the price of whatever going up and like tick, 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 tick. But then there's another part of us that are like, look at my Jordans and my watch.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. But that's that's what they created here. It's like when I kind of look at like Americans versus like let's say Europeans,
You're
we're all
you're Pringles.
Europeans. We're just kind of like we're a movie in itself. Each of us are like a movie character. We're all like in a sense movie stars. Even when we go over there, it's like, oh, you're from America? Wow, it's fascinating. We're just different. Like we're just kinder, we're nicer, we're just like more open to receiving. It's just different. Like I don't know how to explain it. Go to
We're the
Europe,
best.
everyone's just like
That's how you say it. We're the best.
yeah, we are. We are. Yeah, I wasn't born
easy.
here.
It's
And
kinda
I'm
easy.
saying that. Shit.
Oh shit. Is that what do you think that an American arrogance? Do you think that's from having an arsenal in our private pocket or an arsenal in our like TV Pentagon pocket?
Cultural pocket.
Yeah.
I still think of the world in terms of like if you were playing this stupid computer game, but it's called Civilization, and there's different ways you can win, and the
Same.
most straightforward way to win, usually without just going to war with everyone, is a cultural win. And that's kind of what America, that's the last hope that we've got. I don't really think military wins at this point are just like mutually destructive on all sides, right? Like, because if you did something bad enough outside of the country, then it's going to bring it on to you. So really the cultural win is the safest one. Like you flood the rest of the world with our music and movies and values. Although now it like you start ingesting so much of that, it just like everything's going to become ubiquitous. It's going to be just like a straight up global culture.
Honestly, we're so fucking insane. You don't want to fuck with us. We're all fucking crazy in the United States. Like some don't know what gender they are, but that's the crazy that you don't want to fuck with. You want to fuck with America? Like you don't want to fuck with us. Like we're all like different types of fucked up. So come at us and you'll see.
That's the part though. It's the different parts, right? Because if someone was like, well, is America crazier? Is Albania crazier? Well, the thing is that like everyone has their own specific type of crazy, but you kind of know what that crazy is. When you get to America, you don't know if the person you're talking, literally, like if we went to the store, if I went to the store right now, into the 7-Eleven, I wouldn't know if that person has killed someone, if they're on bath salts, if it's an undercover cop. Like there's a million things that person could be.
Yep.
I mean, it's kind of the same, but like we just got way more. Like our GTA roster of like the random cars and people that'll spawn on the street just seems like a much larger selection than anywhere else on the world.
Yeah. I seriously, yeah, they'll say, oh, Americans are stupid. No, we're fucking not. We're clever. We're clever individuals. Like, we do it all. I mean, you can't. Like, we're clever individuals. Like, whether it comes to video games, whether it's business, whether it's just even being a fuck up, we can even be the best fuck ups of all. It's so true.
We win there too, motherfuckers.
Yeah, we win in every fucking...
All we do is win. We're gonna win so much. We're gonna be sick of winning.
We can't stop winning.
This sounds like a song.
Yeah. Oh shit. It is kind of culturally, I think we kind of would outlast like American culture, even though it's so young. We don't even know 1,000 years from now, somebody will still put on Mickey Mouse ears. They won't even know where they originally came from, but it'll be like, oh, that's some American shit right there.
And our country smells better too.
Yeah.
Period.
Depends where you're at.
Not New York's shitty. No.
Yeah, I was thinking in New York too. It smells like teats on the street. It
smells like piss.
Yeah, eats. That's what I'm like. That's what I call it. If my
piss and pigeon poop
somewhere, I'm like, did somebody teats in here?
It's literally piss and pigeon poop everywhere.
Isn't that still better than like San Francisco, where it's all just human feces?
Oh,
I don't feel like San Francisco smells that bad. I've been there plenty. I feel like it smells like seawater. It smells like the ocean and seaweed.
That's cum.
Well, it doesn't have oleander like Southern California. Oleander smells like cum.
I won't go.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of, let me have a chug of my salty
I've
beverage.
been to Laguna. Now Laguna is beautiful. 5-star, baby.
I like Laguna.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
There's some parts of the Carolinas that I really enjoy. Shout out to the
I've
people
never
in the
been.
Carolinas. It's gorgeous. There's also a lot of underground, like ancient tunnels and stuff in the Carolinas.
Mm.
I think it's interesting. What else?
They got crystal
Oh,
caverns
you
around
know,
there too.
Oh,
I
that's
always got to
cool.
bring up south of the border. That's the best part of any of the Carolinas, the south of the border.
so also that
That's
that
south of
place in
Florida.
Miami where the construction site was, and they found like an underground city, like an ancient underground city that's supposedly 13,000 years old, and apparently the owners of the land are not letting the excavators do their science and, like, excavate it. So they're just continuing with their plans to build over it, which is a little sad from what I understand. But it is so fascinating to see what they dug up there. It is impeccable. Like, what happened to the world? Like, all these, like, what happened? Flood, okay, flood, whatever. No, but it's more than that. There's something like all this dirt. Where the fuck did it come from? Where did it all come from?
Do you feel for all of the Tataria and all of the mud flood talk, the Carolinas have been such a like, oh my
Mm.
gosh. Like it's totally possible that tons of mud and debris and rocks could just because people are like, how would big huge boulders just move like that? Nothing could just move that. Water did that. And then you see stuff like this and you're like, did the water create the Grand Canyon?
The other thing too that's kind of related to this, but if you look at the mound builder societies, that even still are kind of a mystery, because even the old like Native American legends, they talked about these big mounds and these big sort of areas that they didn't create; they just kind of built on top of those too. And it's so new because if you compare it to ancient Greece or ancient Egypt or all these other ancient areas, they get all the attraction, right? They're old, but they've been known about forever. Like some of the, like these ancient areas have been known about for thousands of years
Yeah.
as being ancient. And here in the States, there's almost no real attention given to a lot of these. If you go to like Serpent Mound, if you go to any of these big mounds that are our version of Stonehenge, and who knows what's under there, it's not even a roadside attraction. Like you literally drive by it. There's not even a gift shop. It's just like there's Serpent Mound. Okay, moving on. And it's wild because that could be so much more vested in history and so much more of like a groundbreaking discovery. But I guess there's just nothing in finding American history.
Well, Spyro Mounds here in Oklahoma, they did excavate them, and they found a whole bunch of really cool artifacts, and they sold them all on the private market. And they've reproduced a few and put it back in like the museum. But then the people the people who were excavating it, somehow there was something shady that happened and somebody wanted it back, so apparently they just blew it all up, all the stuff that they were digging up. So it's like the mounds are still there, but
Have you guys
See,
seen like ancient structures that have been like kind of like coated with this hard, almost cement like structure? I don't know, or substance that they've all these ancient, I guess, artifacts they've found, and a lot of them were like hidden with almost like cement like substance over these. I don't know
like
what
the
they are.
people in Pompeii.
Yeah. And then they see underneath these, like the cement, I guess the layer of cement that's covering it, they see like this ancient structure. And it's like a lot of these things have been hidden by this almost like molten rock. It's almost like literally molten rock over these structures just to make it look like it was rock.
I'm pulling up a picture of Serpent Mound.
It's so weird.
It is kind of wild.
Mm-hmm. What do you think that was? Or what do you think that is? Oh my God.
Like even it's easily like, okay, a snake. But it's like, why did they make the head that way? it doesn't make sense to me. I've thought about this forever. Why, if it's a snake, it wouldn't be hard to just have attached that and made it a snake.
Yeah. That's
Wasn't it
not a
eating an
snake.
egg or something?
Oh, maybe.
'Cause it looks like it's got its
mouth
jaw
is open.
unhinged and it's
It
eating
is.
something.
Huh.
Yeah, it totally does. The summer solstice in Ohio.
Ohio, you're on notice.
Ohio is fucking weird. I think that's where like a lot of serial killers and like a lot of the fucking murder shit happens in Ohio. Like we need to investigate that.
Les Wexner, Ohio.
This whole world.
The
we have to
Paul
investigate.
brothers, Ohio.
Isn't Ohio a slang term with the kids too?
Oh, I don't know.
That's a weird name, Ohio. Ohio. What the? Who comes up with that shit? Oh, Ohio. Ohio. I'm like, what the fuck? That's so weird.
I'd assume it's like Native American.
Ohio?
I would think
I'm
so
just
too. 'Cause
guessing.
Oklahoma
It kind of sounds like it.
Ohio. Maybe we're saying it wrong. Maybe it's
Oh,
Ohio.
absolutely. We were saying it wrong.
Ohio. Maybe.
The Serpent Mound always reminds me of the Nazca lines in Peru too, though. Those
Right?
are freaking so weird. Like,
Well,
what the fuck are those?
they're interesting that you wouldn't even really be able to see it. Although I guess
Yeah.
Serpent Mound, I feel like you could get to an elevation where you would be able to see
see it
Serpent
somewhere.
Mound. But the
Yeah.
Nazca lines, some of them are so huge, and they're not around any easy places to get a vantage point of them.
No.
Or at
It's
least
so
currently,
bizarre.
right? Maybe there was something there before that you could like climb
There
up and
had
see.
been, right?
I'm open pulling those up. Because people just talk about things, I realized, and not everybody knows the Nazca
What's going
lines
on.
of it all.
Yeah.
Like,
Even
how
the
would you
spider
see
or the
this?
ant
Like,
or whatever
who
that
are you
is.
even making
Yeah.
it for?
Here, I think this
Yeah.
is the craziest part of it. Like, there's all these theories of it because there's Nazca lines all over, like in this shape, which I didn't know about that. That's like in a recent time I've learned that. Maybe I learned that on Ancient Aliens. I might be lying. This is the thing I learn about most on Ancient Aliens.
You know, animals don't do this shit. It's just humans.
But they're
And whatever,
just
aliens.
massive.
They're huge. Let me go back to the pictures of them.
This is weird.
Yeah.
And there is one in California too, I think. It's called the Blythe Intaglios, which is California's version of a Nazca lines.
Well, I can't say animals don't do this because
And this might be something that I heard about on Xerxes tonight. Xerxes. I never can say that name right. It's like Chimera. It'll happen one day, like Ouroboros, and then it never leaves. Adam's calendar in South Africa. Have you guys ever heard of this one?
oh yeah.
Oh.
I never have heard of it before.
Didn't they test this whole area
What in
out
the
with
hell?
like
Is
some
somebody
kind of
moving
like
furniture in my house? Sorry.
with some kind of like device that picks up electromagnetic frequency, and then they went into the center of it and it just lit up with radiation,
Oh, good.
apparently.
Let me pull up this real quick. Okay.
Oh yeah, these are the Californian versions of these like Nazca lines.
Theirs are almost the opposite, like a clearing. Like they cleared
neat.
out all of this.
Where in California are those?
Blythe.
It's got to be like central.
Giant desert figures.
And there's some in Arizona too.
Bizarre.
Giant desert figures.
What do you
That
think?
is so crazy.
Do you guys think there's a purpose to them, or is it just something for somebody to see?
It is so interesting. Like, why on earth would you do that so big? And it would be for something above. It wouldn't be for you to walk up on.
No, because you wouldn't see it.
Nephilim.
Which I can see in California because there are. Well, Peru has mountains too, though.
Layla, now you're
Nephilim.
on to something.
Yeah, they're trying to
Yeah,
communicate with
giants.
the giants.
What
or
about if
something.
it isn't always sky, like aliens? What if it is trying to communicate with giants?
Yeah, what if there is a fucking city in the sky and we can't see it?
Or that. Yeah. Like
this point-
like Jack and the Beanstalk shit.
Absolutely. I am at this point of my reality and my world, anything is possible. If you want to believe in aliens and like outer space and the infinite space, I can believe that there's a fucking hidden sky somewhere in the sky, a hidden city in the sky. Excuse
Fair
me.
enough. Fair enough.
Right?
Or
I
if,
think
or
if you can imagine it
knew that
exists.
someone was going to be able to see it from the sky, even if it was just like they had the heads up that airplanes were going to be around in 100 years or 200 years or longer, right? And knowing like I'm going to screw with these people in the future, or here's my way to make a message to them, even if no one knows what the hell the message is at this point.
I don't know.
What if we were just fucking around one night and we went like astral traveling and did it back?
Well, this is
in the
kind of
past?
like the crop circle debate, right? Where it could be tricksters that are just doing it to make like blow people's minds. It could be a message to aliens. It could be aliens talking to people on Earth by conveying them in these different little signals and stuff, and all the weird lymph node things. I don't know how deep you guys have gotten into crop circles.
Well,
A
I've
little bit.
seen
I can pull up
video
some.
of like supposedly like this kind of orb looking thing. I don't know if it's a real video, but this is years ago, maybe like
Yeah.
10 years ago, of
It's
creating
old
these
school.
things. Yeah. Like and right before your eyes, you see it like creating it. And it's just like, is this fucking real? Is that an alien? Is it government? Is it? I don't know.
Well, and once they actually get on the ground and they analyze some of these, there's some versions where it looks like someone just ran over it, right? Because you can see how the plants have been broken and bruised and damaged in certain ways. But then there's other instances of crop circles where the nodes on the actual stalks of whatever plant that they've been going through, they'll have these weird ruptured nodes that haven't been there from being like run over by something. And there's even some instances where they're almost like woven together or fused together.
It's wild.
I've gone back and forth on these. Like I've been fully on that like they're 100% human made, and I've gone the other direction too. Clearly there have been plenty of crop circles that were 100% hoax, and the people came and they showed exactly how they did it, and it was like, haha, we just wanted to throw this thing. But then there's also been a lot of unclaimed ones. And like, why would you do that too?
We are getting into the signs of it all, and like how he has a cornfield and like all his crops bent down. There's a big storm and his wife dies. And Mel Gibson, he's always been trying to tell us some shit. Mel Gibson's always been on one.
He's
Like,
known for a while about something.
Yeah, he's known to have like an old school church on his property. And he's told us like, hey y'all, like buckle up.
You know who else that I like? The guy from Dawson's Creek, because he gives us subliminal messages all the time.
Pacey or Dawson?
Dawson? The guy who played Dawson?
I used to call him Devolving Dawson.
Yeah.
Because I just felt like he kind of looked like a caveman.
So interesting.
It does.
His page, especially in 2020, like during the whole, whatever, he's talking about how the remedy is always in, or how the cure is always in the
cause is
disease.
always in the cure.
Yeah. And he talks about how to get rid of soot stuck on glass with pure ash and water. And then he said, like, snake venom, for instance. You could always find the cure in this. If you have a bite, you can find it.
I don't know if this is true. This is like one of the rabbit holes that I've fallen down a few random rabbit holes on TikTok, and I don't know what's
God.
that the Ozempic thing is something like some kind of lizard venom or something,
Ooh.
and it makes people's stomach contract, and some people are finding that their stomach never will stop, and so they're just like can't keep any food down for years.
Oh my God, this is the movie Thinner. This is Stephen King's Thinner, right? Where like the
No.
guy gets a curse put on him. If you haven't seen it, he runs over this gypsy's kid and then gets a gypsy curse put on him. I don't know if you can say that anymore. And the whole curse is that he's kind of like a fat dude when she
You
puts
can
the
if you
curse
say
on him.
faggy gypsy.
So now no matter how much food he eats, he just keeps getting thinner and thinner and thinner. So maybe that was Ozempic. She just gave him one of the first doses of Ozempic.
Well,
I've seen some skinny ass bitches on Ozempic, and I know they're on Ozempic because they were not skinny and they're like so thin it doesn't even look healthy. Like, who is it? Christina Aguilera?
yeah.
She looks freaking
And if you see
totally.
Jessica Simpson.
It was Jessica Simpson,
You
probably,
see her
but yeah.
now? She
Yeah.
looks amazing.
I think she
Oh
looks
my God.
weird.
No, she looked weird. But if you see her now today, it's like, did they put a fucking clone or AI fucking robot in place of Jessica Simpson? Because holy fucking what? The same reaction that I got with Christina Aguilera. I was like, how the fuck is that Christina Aguilera? If you look at Jessica Simpson right now, you'd be like, this is the old Jessica Simpson. Like, what the fuck? It's mind blowing. I don't know what they're doing, but they're doing something. I'm just like,
Ozempic
what?
and plastic surgery.
I'm gonna say this about Ozempic really quick. It is muscle wasting, so it will actually it makes you catabolic, so you're actually going to burn your muscle, which means that if you ever go off of it, you're probably going to get fat again, and then your metabolism won't catch up because your metabolism is directly related to the amount of muscle that you have. Your muscle is what keeps your meat working, like your basic metabolism works. Like the more muscle you have, the more calories you burn at rest.
Boom. Ozempic, you're on notice.
Gila Monster Venom, you're on
Yeah.
notice.
Oh, is that what it is? I didn't even want to say those words. I'm like some kind of reptile venom. But
Yeah,
I think it
pretty
is
sure it's a
Gila
Gila
Monster.
Monster.
That
Which makes
even-
sense, right?
Yeah.
Jessica Simpson.
That almost looks like a little Kim.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not the scary one that I saw like 2-3 months ago or however long ago it was.
That's
She looks,
not my Jessica Simpson.
she looks amazing.
Are you refusing to accept the peaceful transfer of Simpson?
I
I'm not
think this
having
is
it.
body transference or soul transference kind of shit that they know. This is the only thing I could think of. A fan of ours on TikTok or X said this like this X-Men Apocalypse. What was it, Chaney? X-Men Apocalypse? That video clip of the soul transference. And it's like that entity going into a new young body.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was crazy. But that is what I think they're up to.
That's
Like,
what I think so,
they're-
yeah. For
I
sure.
think that's what the guy's name is Apocalypse, and he's like an ancient Egyptian deity or something that feasts on souls.
It
Really?
reminds me of the island, kind of.
I just have to say something.
So
And
tongue-tied.
remember on the Sunday show, Layla, where when you had a green screen background that was like an apartment with a sliding glass door, and somebody said that there was a face in the window.
Oh, no.
I just have to say, every time I fucking put up that picture of Alex Jones, I always get scared.
No, they didn't say it was a face in the window. They said, I'm watching you through the window. And I'm like, what? Like, I thought he meant at my actual house. So I'm like, try me, motherfucker.
Watch this motherfucker. But every time I put up this Alex Jones, I'm always like, when you're up in the corner, I'm like, I don't want to freak Layla
I was
out.
about to like grab my gun. I swear to God.
You're like fucking.
But where'd he
creeper.
go? Oh, okay.
It's cute too, but I don't want to get
Okay.
banned. I'll show it to you guys. but I
Oh,
don't
we
wanna
were
get
gonna
banned.
take him out.
Yeah, that would be fun. And then it just falls off the screen.
Can we do that? Can you just have like a random watermark show up and we all have to like shoot it like target practice?
Yeah,
oh, there
do
it is.
it.
Bang, 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 bang. Bang.
Gone. Oh,
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome.
you got to put Kamala and
we
Biden up
we
there.
could totally reenact Nick Arcade with like one of these streaming platforms.
Where I know, like you're allowed to get away a lot with puppets. Oh my gosh. But there are I can believe it's you almost know you're on the right trail with what gets fact checked and how quickly it gets fact checked. Where they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. You're
That's
not
too
allowed
much
to say
truth.
this. Yeah. And I'm like, holy shit. Like I got fact checked in like 10 minutes on Instagram.
You know what's interesting with the weather pattern? Back to the hurricane of it all.
Yeah.
I posted a video yesterday of the weather of the hurricane going by Florida, but it showed 2 days after, and it showed the hurricane hit Tampa and the bottom, I guess, the bottom near Miami, and it actually stop and then rewind and go back to the Gulf. And then I look back today, and it's a total different pattern for the next 2 days. It's like literally shifting off. So I'm like, what was the difference between yesterday and today for them to change the whole pattern of where the hurricane's going to go? Because it was set for it to reverse back into the Gulf. And then today it changed and it's actually going into the Atlantic. So I'm like,
Yeah,
are they?
I noticed that too. We didn't have anything to worry about. And now it's in the whole other direction. Now it's going to rip straight across from Tampa to Florida. And this is the weird part too. I think it's going to do flooding for us, or at least Central Florida. I worry about more because it's going to come across them and sit on them for a while, and then it regathers strength. I think exactly by the time it gets off the Atlantic shore, it's gonna be a Cat 2 again. Like immediately, right when it gets offshore. And this one stayed a storm for so long up into the mountains, like you're saying. What's Florida gonna do?
Look, motherfuckers, I'm trying to be in Florida in a couple weeks. Can we not fuck with the weather?
Listen, we need a weather witch. That's what we need to do. We need a weather witch and try to like whoosh, whoosh.
You have to use your hands to weather witch. So
Or what are those devices that you can like target?
Well, we might need to spin the world backwards.
The orgone.
Yeah.
The orgone thing.
Why don't we just make a bunch of orgone towers, right? And just like fucking plant them everywhere and just fucking attack it. And there's another way to do it with salt, I believe, and another substance and water or something. I have to find the video. I have it. You can make your own outside at home with water and a few ingredients.
Vinegar.
Yes, there you go. Vinegar and something.
I think they had done a vinegar reduction and then put it outside.
Vinegar, salt, and something.
Like a balsamic reduction.
Yeah, like they literally made a reduction. They just like put it in a bowl outside and it like broke up all the clouds above their house.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember the hurricane that was right off the coast of New York when 9/11 energy weapon?
I don't remember. I don't remember the name.
That is what I always think is like, where do they gather this energy from or give it to? Like the ionosphere. I don't know. It's crazy. And another weird thing that has been, how the hurricane, it'll rip the water out of some places and just drop it on other places. That's what else happens in Florida, where it'll like suck all the water off the coast of like the Panhandle and then drop it all on Tampa.
Yo, all that sand dropped in North Carolina. It carried all the fucking sand. Boom. Dropped it. And I mean, people's pools 12 feet deep, full of sand.
Beach
and
sand.
I'm just like, how the fuck did it grab all that sand? I mean, tons and tons of sand.
Well, I mean, so much of that sand is imported anyways, right? Like it didn't even belong there to begin with.
Probably, yeah.
Well, then
the Gulf. The Gulf,
you wonder, like crabs or gators or like other weird animals, birds, that get off course. They say like during the eye of a storm, like so many birds, when it goes over a bunch of landmass, birds get caught up in the eye of the storm because they keep trying to move with the clear weather. So then once it goes over sea for a long time, this birds of every kind, you can't even fathom the type of birds that'll be stuck in the eye of the storm. And if you're in Florida and you've ever witnessed, or anywhere that you've ever witnessed an eye of the storm, the islands or the Carolinas, they've had the eyes go up like that. Texas, you'll end up with a whole plethora of birds from like everywhere the storm traveled. It's so weird, and it's quiet, still, no wind at all. You can see the sky and the storms all the way around you. The storm had such a developed eye, and when it was going onshore, usually that's when the eye walls start to fall apart. I don't remember who I was talking to on the phone watching it. And I was just like, this eye wall isn't natural. It's not falling apart. I don't know. It's crazy. It makes me hella sad. And the idea that it's like planned obsolescence of us as a country. And it's the world. They're fucking with everyone all the time. But they've turned it up on us the last 3-4 years for sure.
Like, who gave them authority?
8 years, because then fucking the vid of it all.
Who gave these people authority? I don't know.
Who gave them Port Authority?
I don't
For
give
real.
a permission to dump shit in the sky. So,
like, who gave them the power? Like, who said?
I know it's rhetorical, but I'd say Skull and Bones. I think Skull and Bones is the one that basically still gets to direct most of that.
Why? Who made them in charge?
They did, because that the original Skull and Bones was actually SCULL, which was a boat. They were absolute masters of maritime, admiralty, like merchant law and smuggling drugs from all across the country. So when your roots are essentially in like establishing the main foundations of America, and you got all your money from being this actual mercantile, like merchant class, maritime style, I think that they kind of see themselves as ruling the actual seas.
My God, they got some big dick energy, don't they? Like, that's a big
they kill
dick energy.
presidents, right? Straight up.
Without even thinking twice about it.
It's like, you know what? I'm going to rule the world. We're going to rule the world. And this is how it's going to go. And nobody can do shit about it. This is our grand master plan. It's wonderful. That's not right, though. I don't think it's right. I think masonry is cool as shit, but like, it's like, what the fuck? Like,
you're going to need some builders again. There's going to be people that have to learn crafts again and have to know how to put the society back together. Like, even look at these people in these towns. They're going to need people with bridges and roads and plumbing and water. Like, so much stuff is going to have to happen that you're going to need people that know how to do masonry.
You know,
that's why I push my kids toward trades now instead of college. And like everyone was pushing your kids to college, and I'm like, psh, if you go into a trade, you don't go into debt, and you learn a skill that is really a commodity. I feel like getting a plumber to show up in my small town, holy shit, I had to call 3 plumbers before one would actually come. Same with electricians, all of it. So trades are the way to go.
I heard the most profound thing today, like during the whole hurricane situation, and this guy lost his grill, lost everything, and he has there was a toilet, just there, an unused toilet, never used. They were gonna hook it up. He found it. He started making a grill. He put like a rack on there. He lit the fire inside the toilet, and then someone commented, "Necessity always creates inventors." So you find things just to create whatever it is that you need to make the thing. And that's what makes great inventors. And that goes back to like people sometimes when necessity and things start crashing and our infrastructure starts crumbling down, what are we going to turn to? The masons, the builders, and people start looking for other ways to invent things with what we have. Maybe we won't have
That's what that's called.
It's curious. It's called trades, because it's something that I could trade you for.
Yeah.
It isn't a tippy tap of my computer that they told me, well, I'm an x-ray tech. What do you do without that machine? Well, I'm a financial advisor. What do you do without those machines? Like, if you tippy tap for a living, what do you do? And so it's just like there are skilled trades that become different, unions around our country, different power sources, different where they're like, you need this shit. No, we're not working 16 hours a fucking day. Like, no, look at the amount of trades, like our country infrastructure. We were talking about it earlier. That's because we have no trades. That's a masculine being taken out of our country.
Now imagine knitting and crocheting becoming a trade if things really were to go to
women
hell.
too.
Yeah.
They got their shit they got to get together. But I say it as a tradeswoman. Like, I'm a talented, somebody wrote on, and this is what everybody should think about. If shit hit the fan, like legitimately shit hit the fan, and you had to hike, you and your family, and you come across a warehouse or a safe haven, and you knock, knock, knock on the door, and they slide open the little thing, and they say to you, what value do you bring for me to open the door? What are you going to say? And that's a real thing, I think, out there. Like, half of the people, they would burn the rice in the tribe. Like, if you had just rice and beans to go on, you wouldn't let them near it. Like, if their job was just to stay up on night watch, half these people can't do that. If there's wet wood, how many people could start a fire? Like, if you can't drink the water and it's all still around you. So I just think there's things that people should think about when it's not just a prep kit, that you could actually prep yourself. And so it's just like, if you think of a house, from laying the foundation to the frame, to the electric, to the plumbing, to the whatever, how much of it can you do? If you think of a car, from the tires to the radiator to the oil, how much of it can you do? And then if you think of the forced helplessness of how many of those things rely on your computer chips now, and do you want all those computer chips in your life? How many people can work on those? That's a fake learnt. Like, can you let me just hook your car up to this machine and I'll tell you what's wrong. You're not a fucking mechanic, bitch. You're a tippy tapper. Yeah. You can't do anything. If shit hits the fan, you're useless to me. You're like a Bitcoin trader.
That's why it's important who you marry too. If you're gonna go that route, you want to get married, it's important to, know what if shit hits the fan, can you rely on your partner to help you survive? And both men and women.
Yeah.
Or do you not give a shit?
You know? Like knowing how much, that is the one thing I will say about the part of the country that was hit. A lot of it, it's a lot of capable of motherfucking Americans.
Yeah.
And that's probably another reason that they, it was important to gut them, because it's probably a lot of capable conservative Americans that have been in those towns for over 100 years.
Can we talk about St. Pete and for a second though, and how in 2022 they put it on their city agenda to become one of the first smart cities. So it's like they're maybe laying the way, paving the foundation for that.
Well, they're definitely creating they want to create a smart city or a smart factory for sure. State of the art. They need our electric cars. So that's how much human life means to them. Like, they don't give a flying fuck about you, about any of us. And we like to think that sometimes, the government would never do that. Yeah.
Well, if it's all Helen and Athena, I thought it was so interesting that Helen came on Athena. What is St. Peter, Abbie?
The Rock. He was Simon, but he's the Rock. That's what it stands for.
Is he crucified?
Well, he's the OG magician.
Crucified.
And he is crucified by who?
I gotta look that up. It's been a while since I've thought
about
it. Too, right? He, like, St. Peter's cross is the upside down cross, is it not?
I think so. I think it's the one that is upside down. So St. Pete, like, if we're gonna symbolize it here and gut it and also make it probably the first smart city or whatever 15-minute city in Florida, it seems like they would want their ritual involved on it. So I was like, huh, who was St. Peter?
St. Pete, you're on
He
notice.
was the one who denied Christ 3 times before the sun rose.
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
Before the cock crowed.
And he's also the one that protect that guards the gates, right? If you die and go to the pearly gates, isn't that St. Peter that you have to talk to?
Yep. I met him in a dream. He was like, he acted like I was barely gonna make it.
Simon Peter. I don't even like that
and
name.
I've heard that the Peter is just like a translation from Petra, like rock, because he was the foundation of the rest of the religion that sprouted from that.
Yeah, well, because his name was Simon, and Christ changed his name to Peter to be the rock.
Petra.
And he is like the rock of the church too, right?
Yeah,
like he's the false in a weird way. Like they say, like, oh, the church is going to kind of lead you guys all astray.
He allegedly was the first pope, according to the Catholics, though.
It seems like it would be important symbology for them.
Vampires. You know what? Vampires. Vampires. Like this is the only thing. Like when you kind of think about it in this sense, like all of this.
I like how we all had to adjust to chair. We're like vampire talk. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me sit up. Let me get my mustache back on. Let me get my teeth in.
It has to be. It has to be motherfucking vampires. It has to be some kind of like, oh, I know how to transfer your soul into another body and your soul will live forever and you'll remember everything. It has to be some kind of weird shit like this for them to have this continuation of this drama for
Roseanne be calling them out. She said they're straight up vampires.
For centuries. And who is this for?
3 eyes. It said the Counts of Nicaea, and that's everybody should look into that. I feel like we could do a whole show on it one night, but I really thought it didn't say that, and I thought it was just like being slight, and it made me laugh so hard. Anyways, sorry, you'll have to use your imagination. Anyways, go on. I interrupted.
No, you didn't. No, that's all I have to say is fucking vampires. It has to be. Like all this continuous drama, it just like we're gonna die. I'm gonna die. You're gonna die. We're all gonna die. But who is this really for the people? Like this continuation of this story, it has to be like people who.
Well, especially when you see some of the celebrities now, and then you see like the photographs of them, like freaking, 80 years ago, and it looks exactly like them. You're like, vampires.
The time traveling ones where it's like Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
And he's a Coppola family. That's a vampire last name if I've ever heard one. Fashion houses, vineyards. These are really like this is old property that stays in families for thousands of years. Vineyards, you're on notice.
It can't just be like, oh.
But they also would hate the sun. Do you think all the second moon talk is to get us to not notice the second sun?
Look here, not there. Probably.
And do you think there's something about a second sun that is also like either a mock of Christianity, or that's what Christianity was always trying to say, is that there will be a second sun in the sky?
Huh. Maybe that's the sun, the return of the sun.
That it's not a real sun. Don't let whether it's a president, a pope, or a king, don't let any of them convince you that that's a real fucking sun.
Or it could be like how you're saying that the coming of the sun is probably like what they wait for every 2,000 years. And that's the sun that appears every 2,000 years.
Well, the sun when the sun returns, it's supposed to be in full power too. So it's not supposed to be reborn like an infant. It's supposed to come in full power.
Like a lion.
Yeah.
But what if the sun we got now is the fake one and we're waiting on the real one?
There's that theory too.
There is people that think that like everything under this sun is like our eyes don't see correctly. It's false light, like where the waters run red. That whole saying is that really it's just like one fragment change of our vision, and that would make the sky and the water red. Like if the light we looked at it through, it would change the color of everything.
Yeah. They say like the moon gives off the X-ray and the sun gives off the what is that frequency? I guess radiation or radiate the light, which makes our vision of reality and matter appear real because of the X-ray.
Well, there's been
And
all this sunspot talk and everything
so
this week too.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
CMTs
Yeah, where there's like
or
because
CMEs.
it's like I can't decide if they're gonna run aliens on us, Russia, China, Red Scare, or if they're gonna say the sun did this and shut down all your communication. But somewhere they're gonna shut down our communication with each other.
Or it could be like the Book of Eli and the sun starts to fall.
Speaking of which, I need your guys' addresses so that way, we could go old school if we got to. After the show.
Old school.
Well, and
Yeah.
also talking about the sun and hurricanes, those solar flares are supposed to have a very tangible effect on hurricane and tropical weather systems. So just by knowing how the solar flares are happening, you could either have a prediction or I don't know, is it completely crazy to think that there might be a way to cause solar flares? Like, do you think that anyone has developed the technology in order to have any influence on the sun, or is that silly?
Probably.
Yeah. Lasers.
Yeah, and they talk about the black sun being in the center if that's real, and they try to play polar, sun up as above, so below. Wow, I can't speak today. Holy fucking shit.
I think
I
you're
feel,
doing fine.
I know, but like I'm tongue-tied or tongue-tied. I feel like they can. They do it. I mean, just point any kind of fucking
Think of the
mirror.
Roman gods. Like, think of how pissed the Romans were that Jesus was just walking around saying shit. Like, like just imagine if that was a thing, and they're all like have statues of their gods. They have all these temples. They need everybody to go to them and give a certain amount of energy. Like in the show Chaos. Imagine all these gods, a monkey god, Zeus, whoever. All these gods need all this energy, a certain amount of energy given to them. And the more energy that's given to them, the more powerful of a god they become. And then this dude is like, you guys can all attach to God. Like, let me show you the way. And they're like, what the actual fuck? We got to kill him. He's not allowed to say that. Like,
was it also, didn't the Romans actually kind of want to save Christ in a way, but they couldn't because they had to hand him over to the priests because of their laws, and
Yeah.
they had to forfeit him, and they didn't want to?
Sort of.
Yeah.
Pontius Pilate's wife was very much, she liked Christ, or she liked Jesus. So she didn't want, and Pontius Pilate was the head of the Roman state in
liked him too, apparently.
Israel. No? Enough, yeah. Like he felt guilty. Like he didn't want. He's like, dude, why am I going to crucify this guy? And they're like, because he's a blasphemer, And that's all the Pharisees and stuff, like, pissed off about it. And he's like, yeah, but you got a murderer here, and you got a thief, like, and you're going to crucify. You want this guy to die? And they're like, yeah, he deserves to die. And so, so he tried to kick it back to King Herod, the younger King Herod, not the one that like had all the babies killed. It's like his son or his son, something. And he basically was just into his little drunken orgies and pretending to be like in control, but really wasn't, because the Roman state was there. And so then it was brought back to Pilate, and Pilate was like, okay, well then I'm going to leave it to you people. Like he put it up to the people. It was like, I'm going to let one of these people go.
Yeah.
Like, and so it was Barabbas. So Jesus,
twin
Barabbas, and then there's Jesus of Nazareth, and then the third person. And they're like, which one do you want to let go? And they're like, Barabbas. So they let go of Jesus Barabbas, Jesus, son of the Father, and they kept Jesus of Nazareth there, and they crucified him. And he's like, well, I'm washing. He literally pulled out a bowl of water, and he said, I'm washing my hands of this. He was like, basically saying, I'm not taking responsibility for it, but I'm going to give you what you want. And it's really because the Romans had to keep control of that state. They couldn't
Yep.
allow the political unrest because, they're so far from Rome.
Makes
So
so
he
much
had to go with what
sense.
the people said.
In a way, if the sun, let's say, the Bible is talking about the solar clock, and the sun is representative of the sun, then would the solar flares and a bunch of them be some sort of crown of thorns? And then what would a cut in his side represent? Some sort of comet that would go across the sky? I don't know.
And the nails.
Or what
Because I know they
character?
also say that Christ is Pisces.
But what character carries a bow or like a stick with an arrow like that? Is it Sagittarius?
Sagittarius, or if you look at like Artemis,
Athena.
yeah.
Oh yeah, shit. I don't know, man. I wonder. It could be maybe it could be a star thing.
Isn't there an eclipse too?
Oh yeah, it was on the 3rd. It was on the new moon. Thursday.
What?
Solar eclipse? Yes.
Why is what the fuck? Why wasn't that a big deal?
Because nobody probably was in totality, so.
Huh.
Because we got hurricanes to worry about over here.
Yeah,
no.
we don't have time to play in the eclipse. When is King Tide?
Huh? When is
King
what?
Tide?
Well,
King Tide. It's like a time when all the tide is like the highest of the year, or at least around here. I don't know. Maybe it's not everywhere. I thought a king tide was a thing. I thought it was like
I never heard of that before.
like certain time of the year when the king tide rolls in. It's even higher levels of water than normal. And so like during a full moon at king tide, you'll get like even crazier high tide than normal. And so I always theorize like maybe there were certain ways, or there has to be the opposite of that, of certain low tides around. So let's say if Florida was having a king tide, it was making me wonder if a certain part of the planet had the lowest low tide ever. And are there certain like entrances in the ice wall that maybe you could only get to during high tide or low tide?
I love low
Like
tide.
buried treasure.
September 22nd was the equinox, apparently. We just passed it. And that's when everyone experiences the same amount of daylight and nightlight equally around the world, which is fascinating. How does that happen?
I don't like the moon and the sun just are like in their right rotation for 12 hours or something. Equinox.
Well, it seems like that king tide will probably also be related to that solar lunar cycle, because the tides are supposed to be controlled not just mythologically, but like actually by the moon, right? And that's like, and it's pull that's kind of oppositional, or it's sometimes like perpendicular to the sun.
I feel like science just debunked the moon having anything to do with the tides. I swear
Yeah,
to
I think
God.
so too.
And I'm like, oh, okay, so now it has nothing to do with it.
Okay,
Interesting.
Well, can we just blow it up then? Because I thought that was the only reason we didn't blow it up.
So I talked about this before. There's a TikToker. He just died recently out of nowhere. He just got cancer because, I mean, he was debunking everything about the earth and physics and what they teach everybody. He's like, it's all a fucking lie. Science, what they teach you is a lie. And he said, and he talks about the tides a lot. And he explained how the tides have nothing to do with the moon. And it has everything to do with the plates and the earth, how it breathes. He talks about how the land breathes and it goes up and down, but very slowly throughout the day. So it's like it'll rise. And then at a certain point when I guess the sun starts to go down or rise, or it has to do with the sun, I think. And it breathes, it goes to sleep. Goes up and down. It's literally that. The plates, baby. It's the tectonic plates. There's lots of water. We are surrounded by water. If you want to think about it like shul, like the whole idea, like living on like in water and we just land masses, the whole thing is like it's a buoyancy. It's like this, it's gonna do that. And all the plates are just gonna kind of like balance and level themselves out because they have to. And they're large plates, so you're not gonna feel it like, feel it, but you're gonna feel it in a you're not gonna feel it. It's done in a slow manner, pretty much. It's all
Do you think these large plates were considered gods at one time or giants? Do you think anyone figured this out? Yeah, or titans, and they figured out where these plates were, and maybe they put like serpent mounds, or maybe they put like pyramids, or maybe they put like big, huge structures that time couldn't tear away to warn us of stuff in the future.
There's too many vagina caves for me not to believe in titans.
Yeah, and like when things rot, don't mushrooms grow off of it, and fungus and all these bacteria, liquid, and all of this stuff? That's the same idea. It's like a fungal rotting system. It dies. It's grows something new. It's like dead corpse. We live on a dead corpse.
Only if you're a fun guy.
Fun guy. I love that theory.
Fun gal. Fungal.
I know. I think it's fucking so wild. Sometimes with all of these kind of things, like when Layla would say that, the floods don't necessarily have to happen all at one time worldwide for all of us to have a flood myth. Mm-hmm. You kind of look at this stuff too, and you're like, nope, do they? Like, how many people would build at the bottom of the valley or close to the river or close to the ocean? And they're like, this is perfect. Look how many people build on the coastline everywhere. This is perfect.
Yeah.
Like,
and the fact that we have islands that just popped up out of nowhere. How many? Over 10,000 of them? That just poof, appeared magically out of nowhere, and we didn't know that they existed.
I feel like, I know this isn't a completely original, but also it's just wild to me that if there were going to be a worldwide flood, at least in this country, the first person to know about it would be Noah.
Yeah, right.
Yes, that is kind of so crazy. So the National Oceanic whatever I called it before, air something association would be the first to know about a flood coming to warn us.
What if the myths are just there to freaking predict the future, to tell us the playbook?
Who was he really working with? Because he probably caused the flood. And he's like, fuck you, motherfuckers. You don't want to listen?
What really happened in that tent? That's all I really care about, the whole Bible. What happened in Noah's tent, bro? Something happened there.
The gay thing?
Is it gay thing? Or is it something way deeper than that?
I don't know.
You guys, I just was like, okay, we're talking about Noah, knowing about a flood. So let me just put ark into the thing. So, let me spell it both ways. I think just this could be coincidental. Arps. Okay. The ARC is the Appalachian Regional Commission, investing in Appalachian's economic future.
ARC.
Huh. Weird.
That is really weird. Focusing on 423 counties across the Appalachian region. ARC's mission is to innovate partners and invest to build community capacity and strengthen economic growth. It's like, I wonder if the people like this stuff. Funding opportunities, capacity buildings, academies and institute, research and data.
Did Noah build the ark?
Well, isn't there an ark replica in Kentucky?
I think there is a huge ark.
It's in it's in like Williamston, Kentucky, where this guy recreated the entire ark. Wouldn't that be nuts if someone ends up like using that thing during a flood?
I know that's probably why he built it.
Did you guys ever watch Evan Almighty?
The sequel to Bruce Almighty, right?
I love it. Yeah, I like it better than the first one.
Jobs at the Ark. Current hours now through November.
Appalachian. Okay. From the name of a Native American village near present-day Tallahassee, Florida. What? Why? Really? Why Tallahassee? Is that the end of the Appalachians?
It is in Williamstown, Kentucky. That is so wild. Noah's Ark replica is in Kentucky. That is blowing my mind.
People of Florida, perhaps Appalachia, other side of the river.
So that's where we're headed. I'll just call it out. If there's ever a global flood, we're meeting up in Williamstown, Kentucky.
Well, look at this too. Like, just look at it's like all mountains. It looks like it's perfectly in the valley, like exactly where you'd put a big boat if you were building it.
Well, and it reminds me too of like the one that they claim to have found in Turkey using sonar or something, and they try to like uncover parts of it.
Yeah,
it's by Dry Ridge. I don't know. That is some wild shit to me. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I thought it was on this screen. I was just enjoying a tour through Noah's Ark.
You know, saying Appalachian is the incorrect way of saying
Appalachian.
Yeah, I made a TikTok about that a while ago. I was like, is it Appalachian? Because I remember it being Appalachian my entire life. But they're like, no, that's completely wrong. I'm like,
on the West Coast, we always said Appalachian.
Yeah.
I guess it's
we just have Apalachicola. So that is a little
so you know how to
Florida.
say it. Yeah.
No, I don't even know if it's right the way I say it. I just say it like I know one town to be pronounced. So then that's the way that anything that has that.
That's like Nevada. You know how many people like try to correct me and tell me it's Nevada? And I was like, y'all, I fucking grew up there.
Gosh.
It's Nevada.
Nevada.
People have names where they're like, you know.
Well, that's not the correct
it's
Spanish
Sam.
pronunciation.
Sorry, Sam. like it's Sam, not Sam.
Okay.
I know. It's like crazy.
It's Chaney.
Yeah. I'm like, I could make it anything. I know, but that would be in the world that we're in. We could all wear the mustaches we had on earlier and then just be like, I want to change my pronoun to.
I'm gonna go in the boys' bathroom. Gross, never. Why would I ever want to do that? Like, that's the worst thing that came out of all of this is that there used to be a designated female restroom, and now, like, you go into an establishment, and a lot of them just have like gender neutral bathrooms, and the toilet seat's left up, and there's piss all over the floor. Like, a girl's restroom in public is usually pretty clean.
Now, I wonder if transgender men, well, the women that transition to men, do they go to the male bathroom? And if they do, how are they really peeing? Are they going to the stall and acting like they're taking a shit? Or how does that work? I don't know.
Maybe a she-wee.
I feel like, you're talking about the women who transition to men.
You're like, while I'm asking this question, the Führer will ask like.
I just assume that they save it until they're reading a book to kids.
How are you taking a piss, brother?
Real men stand up.
Yeah, like, let me have a quick question here.
Can you write your name?
How are you taking a pissin'?
Okay, I've pressed it back on.
I cannot do a German accent. No, I can't do it.
999. That's the only thing I can say in German.
Nine.
Or Dankeschön.
Yeah.
Nine.
Or Dankeschön, but then that always gets into the talks of how Wayne Newton.
I know that one.
Wayne Newton is a lesbian woman.
I know it's Schliebenich. I like that word.
My mustache is crooked.
I know. Prost.
It's driving me crazy.
Your mustache is crooked? I know. Mine's weird too from putting it on in the screen. Brother.
Brother.
What's up, Holmes?
I can't smile all the way with it. It is, if it was dark, it's going to be a little John Holmes. That is another thing that I dived into a little this week is the Wonderland murders. Have you guys ever taken a tour down the rabbit hole of the
There's a
Wonderland
brand
murders?
new TV show that just came out about it. I haven't seen it yet though.
Do tell. Maybe that's what I started. That could have been what I started. And then I just went back and watched Wonderland first with Val Kilmer and Paris Hilton.
Is that about the Wonderland murders too?
Yeah.
I don't like Paris.
Something feels a little Ray Chandler about Paris, doesn't it?
I don't like her.
All the girls that put themselves around the quote unquote fake Britney Spears wedding, all those women from Donatella Versace, Madonna, Drew Barrymore, Paris Hilton, and Selena Gomez, but she's just not A-list enough to me to be mentioned with those other witches. Like Selena Gomez, go coven up somewhere. Like, but those scary Hollywood witches that I mentioned, they seem like they are validating the fact that any of that wedding was real. And I just think it's crazy that her fucking man owns a CGI company.
For real.
For real.
She had a really weird thing in Orlando too when she tried to run the Club Paris thing. It was the straight, because I was right here in downtown when that whole thing started and when it like fizzled out, and I just never understood. Was it just money laundering? Was there like some other like underground like trafficking operation going on there? There was really no good reason to start a club in downtown Orlando at that point, especially Club Paris of all the clubs they could have put there.
She had a few clubs that went around. Yeah, like she went around and put a few of those clubs in, almost like in like the Virgin Records, like the big, huge Virgin Records that just filled up everywhere, those enormous stores. It's almost like Disney just invests in all those things that are kind of sus when it comes to human trafficking. It's like everything at Paradise Island is like, Hard Rock. You're on notice.
You know, it's sad to hear some of these trucker stories who work at these ports with these shipping containers and how sometimes they'll hear the cries of children.
Let's talk about this.
It's kind of sad, you know. Like these are true stories. There's actually, I guess in the 1970s or 80s, they had this whole documentary or news reporting. I don't remember quite clearly, but yeah, this guy was reporting on it, and this man is talking about how he opened one of the shipping containers and there was thousands and thousands of dead little babies' bodies in just one shipping container alone, and body parts and brains and skulls and just children, and like stacked thousands of them in there, corpses.
Should have went with UPS.
Well, it's probably Evergreen.
No, well, this is something I'm glad it's brought up because I know people personally, and then I've heard people in rooms this week that work on shipyards or they used to work on shipyards, and they would go hear voices at night from these shipping containers and screams, and they would go to higher ups and tell them about these things, and the higher ups would gang stalk them. And so when they went to people, all these people knew who was fucking following them. They all had a person by name, and everybody thought they were so crazy. Like, what? That is your friend. They're not following you. It was like all these people. And one of these people ended up dead on the side of a road in Texas.
It's just
like hit by a car. But
look what I was doing today. Can you see this? Human trafficking guide is backwards, but I had to do professional development on it, this was the shittiest fucking thing. It literally was just like, human trafficking guide, this is how you work through the module, and it fucking didn't have shit about human trafficking. It's like, but I got an hour for it. Fucking weird. Like, it's part of our mandatory professional development now, but there was nothing there.
Well, I think it's to make it seem that everyone is now informed, or like they've got some kind of insight. It's like, I saw Sound of Freedom. I've seen Sound of Freedom 5 times. I know how to take down a network. You know what I mean?
Well, Star Island, where P. Diddy lives,
there's a shipping port.
There's a shipping port literally like not even 2 miles away from Star Island. guys. Like right across the island, 2 houses down is P. Diddy's house. Right there. And all these stars right there. It's literally 2 miles, not even, probably a mile across, right next door. Why do they need to have Star Island right near a port with shipping containers? For what reason? With their tunnels and their what are they? Submarines. You see, I can't speak today. And their
What?
submarines. Like, it's mind-boggling. Their tunnel systems.
And I know that's where we all go when we talk about human trafficking, is we go straight to like people that are missing, right? But that's the other thing, is like so much human trafficking is done by people's families and their own parents and stuff. Like it's literally like they're prostituting their children. They're taking them away on the weekend to fucking meet with a stranger and make some money. Like, it's sick. It takes so many different forms, and it's like those are little networks too.
Yeah. They found, do you know where they found his tunnel? In his bedroom underneath his rug. He had a tunnel system. Boom, pop open, and it
How
led
cliche. You would
and
think that he'd be a little bit more
they
like,
just
he would have like a trap bookshelf or something like that, but
yeah.
under the
That's
rug.
got a cliche too.
Keep it.
Yeah,
I know,
you'd
but
think
keep it under the rug.
you'd pull
Sweep
a
it under the rug.
statue down and a bookshelf would slide open.
You
Right?
you
I
pull
just think
out
that's a
Bill
little bit more
Burr's
bougie.
dad's sci-fi book where he like rapes people
Yeah.
on the Mars and like it opens a little door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That just seems a little bit more, I don't know, that seems a little bit more upper class to me than
You like pull the Bieber album and it's like, and you got the yummy,
Look, if you're gonna
that
traffic me first class, please.
yummy.
come on. Yeah. Take me through a real freaking secret passageway.
Chaney, I have a question for you. I
Okay.
mustache this question. Okay.
Okay.
Is the real Kanye back?
You guys, I thought that was an interesting video
Yeah.
that I saw today. Is that it's like Kanye walking through the airport, and I've seen other people are like, "That's the Kanye impersonator," and other people are like, "Oh, that's different. Like, it looks so different than the swollen guy we've seen walking around with
It
the
looks like
robot naked
Kanye.
lady. It looks like old school Kanye."
Kanye.
And so if you go back into everything we kind of think, if you want to like totally like glittery red pill, if everything with Diddy started opening his mouth big time right when the case dropped, almost like if he turned over information, they called him and they were like, all right, we're on our way in, or this motherfucker, we're tailing him all the time, you're safe. Like all those things that happen, because there's the conversations with Diddy talking to Kanye back when, and he's like, Kanye's like, stay the fuck away from my kids, and Diddy's like, just meet me somewhere, and Diddy starts posting all of this to Instagram, and he's like, no, you're a fed. He's like, starts calling him that. So then Puff Daddy or Kanye West stays in the sports arena. I don't even remember what sports arena, but it was almost like he was like, no, I'm going to stay in the most amount of public. And he was yelling at Kim, like, I don't want my kids around any of those people.
Well,
So
not only that, there's an episode of Kim receiving the tapes of her when she had the whole incident with Ray J. But there was more than that. They show it on fucking camera. If you look at that episode, there's this episode, she gets the suitcase, and in the suitcase is not just tapes, but there's laptops, CD drive, not CD drives, what are they fucking called? I can't think today, man. The things that you plug in and download shit.
The USB drive?
USB drivers. There you go. USB drives, all kinds of equipment in this luggage. And she was so happy to receive it. And this was the deal. Was after, or like during the time when he was taken away and like kind of put in the hospital. And that's when he was tweeting everything. It was the same timeline. Like, I think he figured some shit out because he knew about that whole situation when he created that song Famous. He knew everything that was happening. Like, he literally called out P. Diddy in that fucking video, if you look at that video. But I think he is a big part of this, Mr. Kanye West, of like the unraveling of what's going on in the Hollywood. I don't know why. I don't want to say it, but I believe so. This guy right here. This one right here.
And it even could be so much so in a witness protection way, like, you know, he talks about how they, you know, that they sacrificed his mother.
That looks his height too.
And people are like, it's his walk, it's his smirk, it's his like, it's so different than, you know, the bloated
Yeah.
Kanye that we've seen.
Like this height looks like accurate too. Because this other one, the bloated one, kind of looked a little short and
He
stubby.
got the swagger.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I want to believe that we can take like the most recent solar flares and HARP activity and Kanye sightings and use that to actually predict the route of the next hurricane.
Oof, I think we hit another port. If we go with all the port shutdowns and like DeSantis is like, I'm going to keep my ports open. I'm going to help out. Like if New York or if the rest of the ports want to go on strike, I'll let the National Guard come in and run the Florida ports. Then the weather modification, like Layla was saying before, is that storm is headed in a whole different direction. We Floridians watch that Gulf of Mexico. We watch storms. We watch the coast of Africa like crazy. We watch the Yucatan Peninsula. We're like, I see you, low pressure system. Like we're like,
you're on notice.
Yeah, we're like, brother, I see you. We're always watching that thing. So I totally lost my train of thought. But
I love you, chat. By the way, we love you so much. We love you so much.
That storm turned around, so it just feels like to me. They're going right for Tampa. Tampa is like a natural freshwater port, one of the deepest natural freshwater ports in the world. And the way that Tampa water that pulled off and flooded Fort Myers last time, I also think the farmland of Florida, nobody talks about how many cows are in the state of Florida for the country. Nobody talks about how much tomatoes are in the state of Florida for the country, strawberries, things of this nature. I would say Florida is probably like agriculturally, if you look it up, it's in the top everywhere and no one would ever guess. And we have 3 growing seasons, and most of the people setting up their growing seasons in Florida for most things outdoors, it starts right now. So you're putting all your fucking plants outside because you're about to grow into your, build into your nice winter. You don't have to worry about the sun, killing all your shit. So, yeah, if I were evil in my Lego brain, I would think right toward Tampa, gutted across Florida because there's so many swamps around Orlando. Disney doesn't give a shit.
Would you call it weather wars?
Yeah, I think we've called it weather wars in an episode.
Yeah, right. There's definitely weather wars. Do you think it's our country doing this, or do you think it's a particular country just, pushing buttons saying, hey, this is what we're going to be doing? Like someone said live on TV.
Do you think we were supposed to know about Chinese spy balloons?
Do you think they were Chinese spy balloons?
I don't think so. No way.
I don't think so. Like Chinese spy balloons infiltrating our fucking
Is it just
airspace?
a way, like, is there Chinese spy balloons? So it's Biden saying, look at me. Look how anti-communist I am. Look how anti-China I am. I shot down the communist spy balloons. But really,
I want to see him pull his
Manchurian
eyes to the
candidate.
side and like say the things if he really wants to prove it.
Where is Biden? Why is Kamala boots on the ground right now? Like literally the vice president does nothing ever and except, become a billionaire from global warming. Like
That's
gay
why I
Al,
did
like
vice
Al
president.
Gay, Al Gore, like Al Vor. How have we never Al Vored before with a polar bear in their belly?
That did something special to my brain too, because I remember distinctly that that Inconvenient Truth movie and Al Gore's whole like Florida's going to be underwater. I remember in 2000 or 2001, that was a required thing to have watched it and given like your opinion on it. And they basically unequivocally say that all these things are going to happen, like all this global change is going to happen, and everyone believed, like almost everyone believed this stuff. Even conspiracy theorists that weren't really harping on this at that point. And just growing up and experiencing 2 decades or 3 decades since those claims were made, but the new generations, like these young whippersnappers, right? But they didn't have to live through all these lies that you just see it all pan out and it all end up being lies. But you can keep doing that because you can keep forcing middle schoolers and high schoolers to ingest this stupid state propaganda, whatever the hell it is, if it's on weather or anything else, and they'll believe it until 2 years passes and they feed it to their kids. Like it's the perfect evergreen scam to just constantly be pulling.
Do you know the indoctrination that they fed me with the ozone layer? They gave us a coloring worksheet in the first grade to color the globe, and like they had like a circle in the sky part of the sky, and like we had to color it, and like, oh, this is what's happening to the earth, and it just like visually showed us like, hey, we have a hole in the sky and we're all gonna die in 2020. And here we are, 2024, Alvor. Yeah, the indoctrination was real because I thought we were going to die. I'm like, oh my God, we have a hole in our ozone layer. I went home and I told my mom, I was like, oh my God, we're going to get sucked out.
Alvor.
It was
this
so,
bitch.
yeah.
And it really is the algorithm of it all. Remember when that bitch was running around saying he invented the internet?
That was him?
He was talking about that at some period of time.
Yeah.
He made the claim that he invented the internet. So it's
Wasn't it a
wild that
woman? Who
Dude,
invented the internet?
I don't know. Al Gore to me seems like such a LARP, the entirety of it.
I think it was a woman who created the internet.
And Dick Cheney, it's funny how Liz Cheney and Kamala Harris are on stage together. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, I just love Liz Cheney, like liberals. And I'm like, we are in a bunked up timeline. And I saw someone from the 90s that they posted a video from the 90s and they were like, I miss this liberal. And it was like a girl with like a sun hat and she was like outside at some festival and she's like, we need to outlaw GMOs. We need to grow our own food. We need to, and it just sounds like everyone I know who's kind of conservative now. And it's just like, oh, I miss this liberal for real. Like
there's an old show. I've tried finding it again. If anyone knows which episode this is, I'd love to know what it is. But there was an old episode. I want to say it was Crossfire, but it was maybe late 70s, early 80s, and they had Frank Zappa on, and they're talking about gun rights, and it was so surreal because in this case, it was the Democrats that were advocating for Second Amendment. And it was the Republicans that were like, no, not everyone should have a gun. And it's so crazy to just see how what seems like these fundamental stances of the parties will just straight up like flip-flop. They'll just trade it like baseball cards and be like, I'll give you a climate change and a Second Amendment for, your like AIDS blanket or whatever else. So they just kind of flip them back and forth.
I think the Vril made the internet. I think the internet was here before us. I think all this that we're holding in our hand right now, like it had to figure out a way to get here. Like, how am I gonna, like how Thomas's idea of mushrooms just using humans so they can get off planet? That's how I think of computers. Like the plastic, the like it's worked its way like the Vril. It's inside all these computers. It's the Black Mirror.
Honestly, Chaney, the more I think of it as like a magical tool, like how we always thought of it, like using it as a magic wand, because your word is your wand, your word is your bond. So using whatever you type or whatever you search into the algorithm, even like speaking on it, like going on live on it and just saying things on it, will just like create a manifestation and just make it real. It's a device of creation also. It's like you create so much on this, and that's why you're creator. Oh, creators today. I'm a creator. I'm a content creator, whatever it is. Do
you think that's all by design? Like all of this, all of the mirrors, all of it is just, one, we're getting comfortable away from each other and not in person. But two, everything we are doing right now is feeding it information. We're feeding it data, so it doesn't need us one day.
Probably, yeah. But we always need it. Like Lucy says, like an oracle. It's like we're asking an oracle. Ask Jeeves. Hey, what is this or what is that? What do you think 2025 is going to look like? And they have different scenarios. What's going to happen in 2026, 2027, 2028? You'll see the different scenarios that it creates. It's almost like an oracle.
Do you think that's what it wants?
I
I
don't
don't know
know.
if it's it as much as like a they, like a they thems, the they thems one is, but like it the most efficient way it seems to control any of us is to have us do it ourselves. So this is just a really easy way of like we'll figure out on our own how to use this tech to kind of enslave us over time. Like no one even has to really plan it. All they got to do is give us the tools to make life more convenient, and then people will start to base their entire routine around that convenience, and now they got you. Like that's how you get hooked.
Do you think learned helplessness is quicker unlearned than people think? Like, as long as you can kind of keep your calm in a crazy situation, do you think that humans, like Layla said, are so innovative? Like, somewhere deep down, like in our 100 monkeys, we have so much innate knowledge between us at any given time, and it's all there. If you calm down, like, all right, bitch, breathe. You know how to give CPR. All right, girl, calm down. You know how to rub two sticks together.
I think
Like,
I'm black pilled on that because I went to public schooling for my entire life. So like all I can think about are the public education administrators and teachers and kids that I was around. And no, I don't. I'm black pilled on that
you know
regard.
what's so wild? I was watching some old videos of Europe during World War II at the beginning, 1938 and World War II, like the beginning of like the bombings in, I think, France is where this was. And this teacher's in school and she's like, okay, kids, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden the alarm starts going off and bombs start happening in the distance. And she says to the kids, all right, kids, flee, 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 scurry, scurry, scurry. And the kids all just fucking take off. Like there is no order, there's no lines, there's no calm down. Like the kids just take off first into the bomb shelter, moves to the back, and then as they come in, they just like file in, and then they just all sit in the bomb shelter and then go over there like, we're gonna go over our times tables. Why they just sit in the bomb shelters and stay calm while like bombs are happening outside. And so it was just like, dang, in American kids, they're, you know, like earthquake drills or hurricane drills, fire drills. They're like, okay, children, everybody in line. It was just interesting to watch it. And no one got trampled on. Like, no one, it's like, huh, look at that. But I mean, they probably practice even the scurry flea, but it seems better than walking.
Why do so many countries have like bomb shelters and all of this? And America and Americans don't really have access to much of that. But the rest of the world, like let's say Vietnam, huge amount of them. If that's one place, if I needed to like escape somewhere in a nuclear war, I would like to go to Vietnam and just go hide in fucking bomb shelters. Like that should be a thing to have.
I think it is a thing, like the deep underground military
We
bases
don't have
and all
access
that.
to it.
No, we don't, because if you think about it, look at how exclusive they make real estate, and what could be more exclusive than underground real estate? Like now you really have a finite amount of developed, land if it's going to be underground.
Oof.
Mar-a-Lago has 4 bomb shelters. And
Really?
I think it's curious of what the Biltmore Vanderbilt estate might have had underneath it, since that's the pool, and everybody is talking about Asheville, but the Biltmore is a very interesting building. People say the art where there might have been a child who was Anderson Cooper hanging in a pool that the Podestas also had on their wall was the pool in the Biltmore. So I think that's curious that the storm also went through that area.
Mm. If I would have built, because I'm thinking about it now, and the whole SpongeBob and living in a pineapple. Did you know that a pineapple can withstand so much fucking heat? Like so much heat, it is mind blowing. Like you can take a ball and like put it in a furnace and heat it up to like it's molten hot. Place it on the fucking pineapple skin. It will not penetrate into the fruit of the pineapple. Like it'll just probably like burn the very top of it, but like that's it. It won't like seep into the layers of the pineapple at all. I just found this out. And I'm like, isn't that odd that SpongeBob, out of all things, lives on a fucking pineapple? And it's like so symbolic, like in a pineapple and symbology.
Well, and Bikini Bottom, so now you've got the whole nuclear testing element
Mhm.
in there.
My grandfather was there when they did that, by the way. Like, had the actual photographs because they had to like put their arms over their eyes and everything. And anyway, like real photographs of the mushroom clouds at the Bikini Atoll.
Really?
Yeah.
Don't you think
Vampires.
vampires would need access to dumbs? Like if vampires did walk this realm and they couldn't be around the sun, which is interesting that the euphemism as we were talking about it earlier, like for whatever reason, the teachings of the sun or the sun, like they don't like crosses. I don't know. So it's like if they did have this realm, having all the riches of this realm are only one part of it if they can't use it 24 hours a day. So them having underground, underwater, but then
Oasis.
yeah, it
Isn't the
just
cross in the circle the solar sun? Like the solar
yeah.
cross?
But also a lot of this, I always wonder if like the staying out of the sun and the vampires underground and like not being in the light, but all of these practices were state religions before the Romans basically destroyed the Phoenicians and the Carthaginians. Before that, like these bloodletting practices and everything, that none of this was really secret or done in the shadows. It only happened after the Romans made it go underground. So, and I don't even necessarily that means like the Romans were the good guys. The Romans just literally made it underground. So now you had to go into a cave in order to do all of this stuff, and it kept happening. But I always wonder if that lower part of the vampires, it's more of like stay out of the light. Don't let people find out that you're doing this because it's no longer part of this accepted state religion, and it's not for the normies. It's for like us elite, and only we can select each other and kind of like pass this on. Like it's like what's the difference between vampires living in caves and staying out of the sunlight and like Epstein staying in his little temple and going to his little underground layers?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, bro.
Eating blood.
We
or,
give them
like,
all their resources.
virgin
and we are a
blood.
resource. Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
so
the monster
curious.
that they talk about that are that we're feeding. We're feeding that monster. And I believe it's that. It's the blood. It's us. It's this whole system that we live in. It's part of this vampiric system. Just sucks you like dry in every way. Even creativity, like even spiritually. I don't know.
Fermented grapes. What about if that in the Bible had something to do with like adrenochrome? Yeah, motherfucker. We did so good tonight.
Oh,
Shit.
can you ferment blood?
Huh?
Can you ferment blood?
I think it dries.
It
Well,
would coagulate too.
I just mean
Coagulates, yeah.
adrenalize it.
Really?
Yeah, it would
'Cause
turn a different color too. That's something about the Wonderland murders that is just curious to me, where it's kind of like the Hillside Strangler or kind of like the Manson murders, where it was just like this rash of like grotesque crimes. Like grotesque, like next level murders, where if you were trying to silent groups of CIA or, because it's all Laurel Canyon myth too. It all goes with the Mansons and it all goes with like who else, like the porn industry and where that goes and runs and who runs it. Like it's just very curious to me. Also, it kills like this free love movement that was all happening before, and it seems like they like to cap off the decades with this like phoom, done, phoom, done. So 1981, it's just interesting how many people knew a porn star. John Holmes, he was a big deal. I don't know. You guys should watch
Big
it.
deal.
Rabbit Hole. If you're looking for a porn rabbit hole, no pun intended. These are such porn glasses. It needs to be.
It reminds me of my sixth grade science teacher. Man, he had the mustache and the glasses and wore bell bottoms still in the 90s.
Like, Abbie, you want to come over here and mess around with this Bunsen
It's such
burner?
curve. Such perv vibes, I swear.
Bunsen burner. And those first science classes and those Bunsen burners, it was look at how capable of kids we used to be able to be in this country. Now the idea of that in front of a table of kids, do they even have those in school anymore?
Yeah, our science lab is freaking awesome.
And they're
Like,
allowed to use all that? Kids are
yeah, they
still
got
allowed to
some
use all
crazy
that stuff?
chemicals and shit in there. Yeah. That's pretty
That's
wild.
good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. They're still allowed to play with any of those. Well, do you guys have anything else to add
No,
to
but
Femalicious?
you guys should check out fermenting blood. It's a very interesting rabbit hole, apparently.
Tell us.
Something about like they used to do it back in the 1600s, and it was called cock something. Hold on.
Of course it was.
Oh my god, it's just so weird. Cock
Do you
ale made with chickens, and they used to preserve it for calories in the 1600s.
Hmm.
And I give you oyster beer. Okay, that's oysters. Hold on, that's from the testicles. Okay, the testicles of a bull. Okay, and here's a list of other things. He gave links to it, and then a winemaker said, actually, you can ferment it. I don't know if you would want to drink it, but all you need is sugar and percentage of this and that. And there's like a whole, like other. Just look into it, guys. Turning blood into alcohol. There's this is spread homebrew
That's
talk.
like right up there with the.
Do you remember
other
when there
stuff we
was
don't
like
talk about.
the
Always ask the
Hollywood?
weird questions. Always do
It was like the Hollywood Cannibal Club or the Los Angeles Cannibal Club, and it was like Zuckerberg's wife. There was like this period of time on the internet where it was like this cannibal club restaurant, and
Yeah.
it was like you could
Yep.
go there during this certain time, but then it all disappeared. It was around the same time of the word that I said that I don't want to get in trouble for, but it had that word with witch, and it was a book that you could look up that P. Diddy wrote.
Yes.
The
And
AI is
that
going
was
to
like,
string all that together
And
and
the
be
Chrissy
like, "Man,
Teigen
that's a
of it
band."
all.
wasn't it like $18,000 or $23,000 or something like that? A ridiculous amount of money just to buy. That's what I
I don't
remember.
even know if it was a real thing for the longest time. Like if you didn't even buy that, it was just a scam. It was just to get money out of you.
Maybe.
It was just an interesting out of every celebrity that they could have picked. They didn't take Tom Hanks.
It was P. Diddy out of all of them.
You know what was another weird thing to me? That this is something in the short attention span theater. Remember the guy that lit himself on fire? And then on his Instagram, how if you zoomed in to one of the things behind him, he had a tiny little writing on tiny little words that said Tom Hanks. And that's it.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
There was like the guy, the burning bush. His last name was like Bushnell or something. I don't know why. I don't know.
There's
I
just
feel
so much
like
that
I'm making it
happens
up.
that
I know we've been
where to store
inundated
it.
with a crazy amount of information over the last, like on purpose. They were like, here, let's lock them all in their cells. And then the same way, if you look up all the MK Ultra experiments, they lock them inside of a thing and like tape them to a chair, and then they traumatize them and blink crazy images in front of their brain and change it and put on loud, crazy music. And
Family.
like it's all, and that's what we've just been doing to ourselves.
Mhm.
We've just been
Yeah.
locking ourselves in our chair and we have nothing else to do. And we're like, I don't even watch TV, Chaney. You're here right now.
Well, and the other part of that too is the whole like victim mentality that gets taught as like this is a normal part. That's that trauma-based programming. Like you can put yourself so that you're traumatized constantly. Like you could get a strongly worded email and like, oh, I need to take a personal day now. That email was, like harmful to me. Like it attacked me. And I feel like if you've got yourself in that mentality, like you're just constantly opening up yourself to external programming. Like that's like a root hack, right? It's like an easy way to shortcut anybody, because once they feel like they're in that mentality, it does something to your brain where your brain's like, I'm just going to be yearning for anything that makes sense. And the first thing that makes sense,
Yeah.
I'll latch onto that.
You know,
Yeah.
for the past 2 weeks, I think I've woken so many people up to the idea of weather modification, where I talk about it behind the bar, and I'm like, talking just to a customer, but loud enough that most of the bar can hear me, and then the people next to me who think like they're NPC, straight NPC, and if you talk about it, they look at you crazy. But then they come back, those people that look at you crazy, they come back and they're like, oh, so I overheard you talking about weather modification and HARP and NextRad and yada, yada, yada. Well, you may be onto something. I'm like, yeah, it's real, guys. Like, I don't just say this to say it, but this is the key. Just speak your as authentic as possible. Like, say it with your passion, say it with your heart and soul. I'm telling you, the mustard seeds will plant and they'll just like awaken. What we're doing right now is what we need to be doing. Just planting these fucking seeds and keep doing it. Which I love doing this. I never thought I'd be doing this in a
Another one
million
too that's
years.
fun
Sitting here with you guys.
for the people that are either like naysayers or they might not think that there's anything legit to it and it's all conspiracy. My favorite one to bring up is the HR 2977, which was called the Space Preservation Act of 2001. And it defines chemtrails as being an exotic weapon system, but it also mentions these direct energy DEW things. And it has those defined in 2001. It basically says, hey, these exist and we should do something about at least regulating like what constitutes it, who gets their hands on it, how do we prevent any of this from happening. But even if none of this ever came true, and I don't think this thing actually passed, but it shows that people in high level of the government, and they were all forced to at least read this, they're all aware that these are real possibilities.
Yeah, and there's also a patent for hurricane and tornado devices to control these storms. So if you want to search the patent, just type those words in.
And what are they allowed to get away with under acts of war? Like, what are they allowed to get away with on us if we're in a time of war? Because, we always have them declaring fucking war on something. We've been in war our entire lifetimes. So if we're in war, what things are all of these entities, the military, the National Guard, the governors, the presidents, what are they allowed to get away with? What do we lose of our habeas corpus or our like martial law? And it's just us, like, I mean, it is all just an agreed upon thing that we're all like, okay, here's what we're all agreeing with today as the law. But
just make it up. Yeah. You have to listen.
Did this pull up?
No, not yet.
Oh wait, it didn't. Weird.
Is it not working?
No, I can pull it up. This is what I did last time. I clicked the link and went there, but then I didn't.
This motherfucker is 50 years old, allegedly. It's Pharrell Williams. Like, he's a vampire.
Well, he does have all the beats too. I feel like if you were a vampire, you would get control of all these songs.
Yeah.
That's where you can see Diddy is such an arm of the record labels in that way. And I think record labels, these people would all be vampires. Like, they would control all the muses, like somewhere they would control the magic of what was flowing through people, the same way as, like, I don't know why I have to tell people not to put a mask on. It's just deep inside. I just have to open my mouth and say it. That's some of these people's songs. They're like, I don't know why I have to sing this. This beat's haunting me. I don't know why I have to say it. And then this record label steals their quote unquote masters and does this thing. Circle back around to Mr. Michael Jackson, who was going to lead the record labels, owning over 51% of them, who you can attach to 9/11, who you can attach to all of Hollywood. And then you look up, and who was the prosecutor in one of the Michael Jackson cases? Please do not tell me it was Kamala fucking Harris. Please do not tell me that.
Yeah.
Pharrell Williams. Oh, shit.
And then her and Trump were going at it back then over Michael Jackson, over the king.
Janet Jackson. On the timeline
Janet
right now.
Jackson. Now think of Janet Jackson, how they asked about her on The View, and they said, are you going to back Kamala Harris? Thinking Janet Jackson. just a black lady is gonna come on, of course, and just be like, yes, let me just backward because she is a black lady. And Janet Jackson was like, nah, player, nah.
Mhm.
Janet Jackson
That should
actually
say a
said
lot.
this is what Janet Jackson said. I don't even think she's black.
Pretty much.
I love that.
Mhm.
I love that for her.
I love that for her. Janet Jackson was like, it's giving me not black.
Yeah. Pandering.
Janet
I
Jackson
love that.
was like, it's giving me not black, brother.
I love that lady that made the pandering video. She were to step in front of a group of Vietnamese that she would start talking like them. Please vote for me, Kamala Harris.
Oh my gosh, that was so fucking funny.
It was hilarious. Crystal
That is-
Gel.
yeah, she's
Do you
like,
like Crystal
I picture
Gel?
Kamala Harris coming in from Vietnamese. Thank you very much for coming here. That is so real life.
I like too that
Thank
Layla
you.
posted a video of Big Mike signing books in like a Costco or something, and it had the sound, but like the way the sound was added, it sounded like someone might have been there playing it.
I
And I'm just
thought
thinking,
so too.
like, we're only one person in Costco playing that song out loud for it to become like a big hit,
Oh
right?
my gosh, you guys. This
people
would be
like
the
the song.
coolest thing. I have to pull it. Is that on your
Yeah.
feed, Layla? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I'm gonna find.
Speaking of, you can download the song on Apple Music and Spotify.
Yeah, if you guys want
Yeah.
to download Big D Energy by the Sound Scientist, you can find it on any major platform and you can put it on your videos. But if
under the
fucking
last
Big
video.
Mike is going to be in your town and you record yourself playing it loudly on speaker, I don't even know how big of a care package that you're going to get, but it's going to be so big.
Yeah, it will. It's under the last video you played with the orange.
Oh, let me shrink it so I can see. Oh my gosh, you have some funny videos on there.
Yeah, I
The
do.
fucking one of Puff Daddy as Epstein is really funny. Okay, sorry. You guys, if you're not following God Pill Angel 33, however many threes you want to put it, if you're lucky, it'll pull up one of her sites that's not shadow banned. It's under the 81-year-old Montana man that looks like it looked like a bus. It looked like a British bus, but now that I see it's a Costco.
Yeah.
I see it's Big Mike. I thought it was a British bus driver. And let me make sure the sound's on.
I sound like I'm choking every time I hiccup.
Motherfucker.
Yeah.
I hate when I actually accidentally rip the whole screen away.
How many views do I have on that? That's
I'm a girl, I'm a girl. Can you guys hear it?
Yeah, it's like in the faint in the background. Sounds awesome.
It would be so rad if she had to fucking pretend that she didn't hear that. Nothing would make me fucking happier than her trying to sit there talking about the pins or whatever she has going on. And in the background, one of our amazing audience right now is playing Sound Scientist Big D Energy.
She's giving samples at Costco now, huh?
anytime you post anything transgender, like, oh, you want to call out that this person's a transgender? Boom, song, Big Mike, Big D Energy, anything transgender related. Whether it's Michelle Obama, whether it's Jenner, what's his name?
Caitlyn.
Caitlyn Jenner.
Bruce.
There you go. Whether it's
But
RuPaul.
I do think if you really stick with Michelle and Big Mike, and every time you do it, just put it faintly in the background. It might be her like an Oprah sitting on stage, just lightly in the background. A banana.
I got a big dick energy.
Really,
I'm like a llama. It's so fucking funny to me. If somewhere like I don't even want her to attempt to step on stage without anywhere in the world where they were like, these people won't be able to walk the streets. This is better than a pie in Bill Gates' face. If every time she's anywhere, you could just pull up on your phone. It's not hard. I got a big D energy.
If you work in production for her, anywhere and you're watching this and you want to put on a song before she comes out and an entrance
Oh,
and you want to fuck shit up, put that song on. You want to go viral? Put that motherfucking song on.
You
and
want
see
to
how
take
viral you
by the
become.
CIA by the end of the day? Put that
Oh,
song
yeah.
on.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
oh my
Get
gosh.
that Barry Seal treatment.
Do it.
Yeah, that is so fucking funny.
Triple
There
dog.
was something else. Big Mike. Oh yeah. The Kanye. Let me look. Let me look at this silly fucking thing. I probably took a picture of it.
What's the thick?
I'm a girl. I'm a girl. I'm a girl. Kamala. We talked about that. We talked about that. I don't know what it was anymore. I forget. Big D energy threw me off, as it should.
Always.
Do you guys have anything that going on this week you want everyone to look out for?
Yes, I do. IlluminatiComic.com. Working on it with Donut. It's closer than ever to release. We've got enough signups. Now the only real holdup is we're figuring out all the different rewards and all the cool perks and all the designs for the stickers and the cards and all the stuff that it's going to come with. But it's like, it's imminent. Release imminent. So prepare yourselves, get yourselves your go bags and everything for when Illuminati Comic drops, because it's going to change the world.
We're cards now too. So if you want our cards too, you could ask
Oh, that's right. Yeah. If you go to the Brohemian Grove,
Hold on.
you'll be able to get some of these cards. They probably won't even come in that late. But you'll be able to get some of these cards at Brohemian Grove. And if you can't make it in person, we'll make sure how to figure out to get like a pack to anyone that wants one. And there's more in here. I just got these 3 offhand.
There's tons of cool ones in there. And you guys, the bigger this whole entire pack gets, the ones that are printed at the beginning of it will be harder and harder to come by.
Right.
So they'll be like the original cards, like the same way with other trading cards. So there's a chance, like if this blows up, you'll get one of the original packs. You want it now because our sweet little nuggy faces are in there.
Right now, honestly, all of the baseball cards that came out in the last print, which had William Cooper and Bill Hicks and Robert Anton Wilson, there was like 10 of them, I think. Those are now the most rare ones because everyone came in and swooped and grabbed them all. So yeah, the next iteration, I've been posting them on Twitter. If anyone wants to see some of the new ones coming out, I've got a whole bunch more, and I'll probably be doing some cryptid ones soon too, because I've got some cryptid comics coming out soon after this.
Oh, we should bring this up too. Speaking of cryptids, did everyone see the Bigfoot this week?
Oh,
yeah.
It was a lot in Oklahoma.
Campaign for a head shop, right?
He was eating like a leaf or something.
Oh, it was just a campaign for a head shop?
It was a campaign for a head shop called Bigfoot Smoke Shop or something.
Oh yeah, he was like chewing on a marijuana leaf or something.
Oh, I just put in Bigfoot and
Riggs.
Oh, here it is. Hilarious
Riggs is
truth
in
behind viral
Boston, I think.
Bigfoot sighting that convinced the internet. It wasn't on my bingo card, to be fair. I wondered why. I was like, I wasn't picturing this right now.
Ooh, we did that. We didn't even talk about.
You found Bigfoot and he supports Israel.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about how Israel bombed Russia's air base or something. Yeah,
I didn't even know that happened.
big move.
Let me check it out. I'm gonna put Israel
Russian something.
Israel, Russia.
Israel bombs Russian something.
What Russia?
Base or
escalation.
no.
Tell citizens in Israel to leave country amid escalation. Russia is likely trying to exploit the conflict. The reason that Netanyahu and Putin both want Trump victory. Russian airbase under attack.
There you go.
That one.
That was right. Yeah.
We just read through like so much hot topics.
And I'm just like, oh my God, that's a big move.
Russian airbase under attack. Israeli missile blows up massive weapons depot in Syria.
Mm-hmm.
In Syria, it's interesting too, because a lot of our sanctuary cities are Syrian, and it was a big problem that a lot of Muslims were having with Syrians in general, is they were like, hey, these motherfuckers are illiterate. They don't even read or write their own language. Like, what the hell? So there was Muslims that were here, and then they were living in places, and they had been there for, a decade or 20 years, and all of a sudden all these Syrians are in there, like how same way people are talking about Haitians, like, oh, there's all these Haitians in a small town in Ohio. That's where there's like a bunch of Syrians that have been brought into our country, hundreds of thousands, but not just our country. They've like destabilized Europe, and like
Paterson, New Jersey is like the home of the Palestinians. That's where all the Palestinians came, when a lot of Palestinians, I'm going to be real and I'm going to say it, you Palestinians are not going to like it, but I spoke to many of them, and many of them sold their land. They sold their homes to the Israelis, the settlers. They made big deals, millions of dollars, came to Paterson, opened up their businesses, bought homes, living comfortable. This is another true side of history that people don't know about, but this comes out of the Palestinians' mouth that I used to talk to, that I conversed with. So this is a reality for a lot of Palestinians that moved down here. They chose to sell, which is a smart move because they probably knew that this was going to happen. So they're like, let me get the fuck out of here real quick. Let me make my money. Bye. You can keep the land. I don't want it. Which I would do. It's just land, really. My life is more precious than land.
I always think this is an interesting one to bring up, because a lot of people, they probably said after the USS Liberty incident, they probably said, never forget. And everybody
Never forget what? I'm just kidding.
I know. And so it was supposedly maybe a spy ship, and during the 6-day war, and 34 crew members died and wounded 171 others, severely damaged the ship. But I felt like there was another one that like a small boat came up alongside of it with like shit in it and blew it up. But maybe they blame that one on Osama bin Laden.
The coal.
Osama bin Bama.
A lot of times I think Israel just bombs itself and they just say, oh, look, they did it. Oh, look, they did it. It's like, I think that's how brainwashed Israelis are, that they will believe anything Netanyahu says, like the majority of them. It's like the indoctrination from such a young age, going into the IDF and this religious ideology from the Talmud, and it has nothing to do with Judaism, because if it was anything to do with Judaism, they know that creating a temple or a state in that fact goes against exactly what their religion tells them that they're not supposed to have. They're not supposed to have their own state. So it's just like
it always seems, like Anthony Weiner, how it's like the simulation, like, come on, try harder simulation. I always thought the name Netanyahu was wild to go with.
Yeah.
I always just thought that was a wild name to run with for the simulation.
Yeah.
I just thought
Yahoo.
I was just
almost like Yahweh. Yahoo.
I just thought Yahoo.
Netanyahu.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, you guys. XOXO Gossip Girl. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend. Yeah, we will be back Sunday and we will hang out.
We'll call the White House again.
We'll call the White House. If you haven't tuned into our Sunday night, we randomly call the White House and ask a question.
So we're calling the White House every Sunday and we're asking a random question. We told you or no? We tell you? We're starting a series
are you using a burner phone for this, or are you just straight up raw dogging it on your own phone?
We do it right on air.
Yeah.
She asked,
but I'm gonna let them know this time, like, hey, so this is the Secret Society of Good Guys, and we're doing a podcast, and we're just wondering, we want to ask you guys questions. So, what do you think of this administration?
Or ask them about the hurricane. Ask them about FEMA.
What's the official response on HARP right now?
Oh yeah. So, what do you think HARP is up to next? What do you think about that? Do you think HARP had anything to do with this? I don't know.
Like we know about all this weather modification in our country. And let's just, for example, say like you would put a HARP in an Alaska because it would be battling a China and a Russia. Like you'd put it that place to maybe point in that direction. And so I always theorize that all those tree towers that are like cell towers or what have you, those aren't for you and me to think they're trees. It's so that they look like that from a military perspective.
Yeah.
So there's just something else about it. I'm like, I feel like we're in war games right now. They've been seeding clouds forever. We can look up into Vietnam. You can look up into Olympic Games, and it's very easy to look up. It's not even hard. It's like you can do it in your little googly goo.
Mm-hmm.
Easy parcheesi.
And don't depend on FEMA. Really don't. Don't depend on the government.
I feel like time and time again, whatever you want to call it, your earthquake kit, your bug out bag, your hurricane kit, the more prepared you are, the less panic you will be. So even yourself with skills, like, do you know how to use an axe? Do you know how to skin an animal? Do you know how to fish? That's like one of the great teach a man to fish. I did see a funny post that it was like teach a liberal to fish, and then they'll say they sexually harassed him and blame Trump. It was like some weird thing, but I was just like, oh, that kind of made me laugh. Anyways,
my favorite is there's a Doug Stanhope bit where he's like, you teach a man to fish, but then he's got to go get a fishing permit, and then he's got to register for a social security number, and then he's got to get into the IRS tax system. And next thing you know, they're coming and repossessing his house because he didn't claim the money that he made on the fish that he bought, that he sold. So like, there's always a double-edged sword in all of that.
I know. Can you think about that? Like starting a fire or fishing, you need a license for that.
Ring, ring. This call will not be recorded. Hello, White House. Hi, White House. This call will be recorded. This is the Secret Society of Good Guys. So you're live on air, and we would like to ask you a question. I got it.
Yeah, because that's what it says when we call. It says this call will not be recorded.
And I'm like, that's odd.
It says you.
Yeah, that's odd.
Yeah, we need to have the post on deck too, so we can pull it up when we call every week.
Mm-hmm.
So
Be
with
great.
the number, so
We're
if
gonna
anyone
shut our
else
ass
needs to
down.
partake.
It's all
Yeah,
right.
is Washington D.C. a two-party state? What I can't remember the name of it, but it's like certain states you can't get first or something.
Ah.
That's what. Yeah, they're not even the White House is not even in America.
Yeah, it's not.
What are we worried about? It's not even in our land. Like, what? Like all the buildings are shut down there with fences around them, and they just keep making new excuses every month to why the fences are there. Whether it's the IRS, the FBI, the state buildings, the Capitol, it all still has fences around it, and they just keep coming up with new excuses. Oh, it's the Antifa. Oh, it's the MAGAs. Oh, it's the Palestinians are mad. Oh, they're marching. 100 women are marching. We got to put us up. Like, oh.
On the next episode of the United States of America.
Rick says I'll take down the show if you say it's SSGG.
Love you guys.
I love you guys so much, and we will see you very, very soon. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Britney Spears, can we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe?
Here comes Santa. Here comes the world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunnilingus, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracy, sex, culture, Jamaicans, it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys. The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunnilingus, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracy, sex, culture, Jamaicans, it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys.
second.